It's a shot. There it is. The victory there for Sen Animal in game number 2.
Any final thoughts for all the people out there that love you?
I just want to say, hi, Mom.
Looks like it might be a push up the hill. He might not be worried about the next zone. He might be going for an Elam here to get that, try and push himself to second and maybe a win. Gets the shot, Tendons gets it. And Saint with basically nothing left. He had 5 shotgun shells.
Tempo knows he's got a huge health advantage.
Oh, he looks the build. Gets
Drops
only
it for
shield
no
tags.
Unbelievable accuracy from Animal. Gets a 47 and a 50 with the double barrel swap.
No, I'm not. I'm not playing.
With the drum gun, he's got this player weak. This would be only a second to live, but there it is. Tries to edit it out, but Saf from Ghost gets the victory. For Dr. Lupo, myself, and the rest of the production team, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys again tomorrow, 6 p.m. PST. More action to come.
Nah, I'm just watching this and streaming it and like commentating like a little bit. I think it'll be fun to watch the finals, so might as well. Have you hit any nice clips lately?
I think it means we're doing something pretty good.
I hope so. I hope
Absolutely. My name is Jack Courage Dunlop. I'm joined by Ben.
Dr. Lupo.
Still considering if he's actually a doctor, Dr. Lupo.
Jack, don't question it, all right? It's official. It's on the internet.
I don't know if that's actually allowed, like, legally.
I don't think it is. Let's not talk about it.
Either
Moving
way,
on.
we're ready to have some fun here tonight. All the registration, everything, the early movements.
Yeah, let's have some fun.
Tonight we figure out our final 33 players who will be competing tomorrow in the $1.5 million grand final. That will be 6 games tomorrow. Anything can happen, as we've seen, and tonight we have some heavy hitters participating.
I'm excited to watch. We've had 7 weeks before this of incredible gameplay.
Yep.
The total over 8 weeks for Summer Skirmish, $8 million, and it all comes down to this. We've seen a ton of big names over the course of the last few days. Some progressing on, some eliminated early, and we've seen a lot of seen some outliers, some underdogs almost that have risen up, and I love seeing that. Anybody can win this thing, Jack.
Well, I can promise you some fan favorites will be participating tonight. We've got the schedule to take a look at, though, of how it will all break down. What we've seen today is
Summer
three
Skirmish.
different heats that determined our players who will compete tonight in our qualifiers. Again, 33 players from this evening. We'll head to the grand finals tomorrow. Some of the names playing, I mean, let's see, Nick Merckx, a little Liquid Chat, maybe a little Tfue, who knows? There's the format, though. 2 matches earlier today in the heats. Tonight, though, will be 4 games. And Ben, you see the rules set there. Break that down for the viewers at home.
Now, not only is
Qualifiers
important, but placement it is as well, and that's kind of molded the way that some of these competitive players are determining how to approach engagements. 3 to 4 elims is 1 point, 5 to 6 is 2.
Oh, this?
7 or more, that's
like
3
these
points.
scrims?
On top of that, a top 10 placement is 1 point. If you get to third,
I don't
that's
know.
2, and if you win the whole thing, a victory royale courage, that's 3.
Oh, victory royale.
But you know what's even better?
Look at this
$1.5
pricing.
million split amongst the top 100 players from this week. If you qualify for the grand finals, even if you place 20,
Why are you playing right now?
you already earned $5 grand. But as you can see, it escalates quite quickly from there, with everything pointing towards that first place prize,
$225,000.
US dollars.
That is nuts.
Life-changing amount of money.
It's incredible. And 5,000 just if you make the grand finals, and the requirements from what we've seen the last few days, Jack.
Yep.
It's not over the top. Some of these players are making it through from the qualifiers, making it into the grand finals for the last day with even just 1 point and 5 or 6 eliminations.
Yep.
Which means a lot of players are playing very slow. But that's not the only strategy we've seen. We've seen some incredible aggression, actually.
Oh, yeah.
We saw even yesterday, Aiden from Ghost Gaming it felt like he was playing a different game, game 1 and 2, jumping around out in the open, even ignoring building at times. He went into, you've seen some streamers, and I'm a victim of it, just weapon swapping, just super fast, just cause. It's like a muscle memory thing. We didn't see that too much before that moment, and he was leaving tilted yesterday. We saw that. We've seen Animal dropped our first double-digit elimination game of the event so far. Sick. 10 eliminations in a competitive format like this is holy cow.
An animal.
It's crazy.
He's
We've
definitely
even
an
seen
animal.
players who, through the 4 games, struggle for the majority of them, but then have 1 monster performance, 1 victory royale, which earns them enough points to qualify for the grand finals that take place tomorrow. Probably going to happen again here. Either way, though, we've got to catch up with how we got to this point. As we mentioned earlier on the schedule, we had 3 heats, and, well, we had some top performers. Heat 1, SSG Colton. Heat 2, NRG Kaysen, and then Heat 3, WPG Ranger, all representing some major organizations there, showing up big for their squads.
A number of these players, they're going to drop a lot of different strategies in here, but man, nothing gets better than falling in on your opponent. Those bounce paths from above, super.
That was crazy.
Especially when you know the right time to utilize them and can catch your opponents off guard. It's tough to beat someone falling from the sky with a shotgun, Jack.
No, most certainly. You see there the excitement after that victory. If that drum gun doesn't eliminate that opponent on that last bullet right there, you'd think the double barrel gets a second shot off. Here's Kaysen a little bit later on in his,
Drum gun's so overpowered.
5 eliminations there.
So nice when you're close like this.
The headshot crits from that rare drum gun, quite good. And, well, you know what's even better? A rocket to the back.
Now, you mentioned earlier a lot of larger organizations, really organizations of all size being represented here. I know right now already Trouble Boys has 4 players qualified for the grand finals tomorrow. World's Best Gaming has 3, I believe. FaZe,
Rook.
Cloud9, Liquid. We have players from all over the place showing up for this, and it's wonderful to see such an embracement of competitive play from these organizations that have been around for a very long time. They see the value of Fortnite and just how top tier the play can be, and it's wonderful
Lost
to see.
in the storm.
It's that level of inclusion that
That's
I
funny.
think Fortnite on the esports side has been. It's fantastic.
Oh, they've been really pushing for it, and it's been paying off to this point. This is the biggest Fortnite LAN event on a competitive side that we've seen to this point. As we know, $1.5 million on the line. Again,
That's
stay
definitely
involved
the
in the
biggest one.
conversation on social media, hashtag Summer Skirmish. We mentioned some of the big names playing tonight. We'll take a look at the full participant list here shortly, but I mean, man, there have been some big names that haven't qualified for this grand final. A lot of people have been talking about, but
It's true.
I want to see
tonight if
Tfue.
anyone else falls quite short, because I know a lot of people have some high expectations for these guys that scrim day in and day out.
There are very dedicated players, like you said. A name we were discussing yesterday, Myth, who took time off streaming specifically to practice for PAX. Didn't work out this time. There's more events coming forward for in the future for these players, and I guarantee you, players with determination like his. And we've seen Vivid put on an excellent show in previous.
I can't believe
skirmishes.
Vivid didn't.
It's not over for these players yet, and I would almost expect a competitive mindset like they have. They're going to take this as a learning opportunity. They're going to improve from it. They'll come out with positive mindsets, and they'll crush in the future.
Well, earlier today, we mentioned the Heat 1 winners. That was actually Colton. We caught up with him with an interview.
An interview.
So the first game I had to run quite a bit because the zone is on the opposite side of the map, so I was just using, I got 2 quarter rifts right off the start, so I used those to my advantage and got basically all the way across the map, and then I had a jump pad, so the jump pad got me high ground. I kept high ground most of the last game and just didn't rush any fights. I played it smart, didn't have too many AR bullets, so I just kind of sat up top and just poked shots at people when they were down below taking fights. I think I got 1 kill off of that, so I just kept high ground, moved in the zone, and that pretty much got me the win. I didn't think I would win and then get a second place. I was hoping I could get a top 5 placement. I got one the other night, but no, it definitely went a lot different than what I was expecting. Everything fell in place perfect for me pretty much today. So tonight I noticed a lot of people were not building. Some of them were just running in the open, and I had a thermal, so I mean that thing's dead accurate. So I was just poking shots. I was sitting on the mountain the entire time.
Yeah, thermal's pretty OP.
So I was poking shots at it. I did so much damage. It's crazy with that thing. I can't even imagine how many shots I hit with it. It's crazy. If I can get lucky with the safe zone like I did today, then good luck. I mean, that's the biggest thing I can say. It'll all be fun.
Huh.
He's got to be feeling good heading into tonight. Again, yes, a great start to the day for him, but his work is not done yet. Still 4 more games to play to try to qualify for that big grand final tomorrow. The pressure is on. He mentioned the thermal and people not building out in the open. That's a strategy we saw, you mentioned, from Aiden a little bit yesterday, where it's like, hey, I'm just going to kind of go for it, hope that everyone's hiding in their little 1x1s and I can sneak to a better position on the map.
Now, I hope that he doesn't expect that strategy to necessarily work in qualifiers. You have a number of players that made it through from the heats, and they did so for a reason. You won't see very many of these players just not building. It's almost like a defensive reaction. Some of them, they run sensitivities that are a little bit higher than maybe you would expect. The reason being so they can do quick 180s, put a wall up behind them. The second they get shot, they get hit in the back, and stop taking damage. I would not expect a thermal to be as effective, but still for something like this, where there's a lot of players that are taking slow, methodical decisions on their movement and their location, it'll still be very powerful.
Yeah, a lot of people not wanting to make risky plays when all they need is kind of 1 point. Their eyes are on, hey, I see to place top 10 maybe even once, and that might be enough to get me in towards that grand final. It's been the theme of this week so far, but typically the people who get those higher limbs have that tiebreaker on their side have been the ones seeing a lot of success.
Exactly. 1 elimination, I believe, 1 point and 6 eliminations. Yesterday was the bottom end of qualifying for the grand finals on Monday, which means, like you said, elimination count is very important. It's not necessarily all about points, because a lot of these players are ending up with, anywhere from just 1 to 6, maybe even 7 points total over the course of 4 games. So eliminations are weighted heavily, but that's not what starts the tiebreaker determination. Before that, Jack, it's actual victory royales, which is how we saw Animal come out on top of the leaderboards in day 2 qualifiers. Because he only had 14 eliminations, and Aiden had 18, which is the highest we've seen thus far in any of the days. And I am excited because of some of the names tonight. We have Tfue and Nick Merckx and Liquid.
Yes, let's go.
They're slayers.
Yeah, they most
You're going to see
are.
high elimination counts. I'm excited.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. Now, we've got a great crowd here in the venue, and you know what? I want to give them something special. This is my decision. No, I was kidding. I was just told we're
Absolutely.
doing it. And I'm super excited.
Decision.
I tweeted about this. This is big, folks, because this is actually so sick.
This is big.
Who wants to see the high-stakes LTM right now? Make some noise. Good. Good. Let's do it. Let's bring it up. This is absolutely awesome.
This is the new game mode.
The first look, the first footage of the Getaway limited time mode and the new item, the Grappler, ladies and gentlemen. Right here, right now. This has been the talk of all sorts of things online. There it is, another new item coming to Fortnite, and you know what? It's simple. Here's the plan. 4 safes have been loaded into supply drops scattered around the island, each carrying a large jewel. You and your crew must locate a safe, pick up the prize inside, and get away with the goods while battling enemies. The first 4 teams to make their way to a van with a jewel and a getaway win. Are you up for the job? Simple as that. Look, I mean, look, are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? You see on the right side, the getaway vans, the safes that are on the map, all sorts of stuff going on.
Oh, wow.
There's the jewel, picking it on up. Completely different way to play Fortnite, man.
These changes, the new modes that they've been putting in recently and adding a flavor change to the way that the game plays. And here we see, like you were talking about, the Grappler. Man, look at this thing.
Here's the Grappler.
What?
First look. Are you kidding me?
Whoa.
Soaring around the map, completely changing it. You can take on some of these fights. Oh, I saw this clip earlier. Like, I cannot wait to do this.
Fly into the air. Boom. Imagine a double barrel right as you land.
Trust me, I can imagine it. There's the getaway van floating up there.
Are you kidding? This game mode is weird.
Jackie,
are they all bots?
I do. You see the team moving on up. They get to the van, they board it, and you know what? There's the victory royale.
Before you leave, right? On the way out. What a ride.
I love it. And you know what? We mentioned all the stuff going on. You see the skins there. The glider was in flight. Tomorrow, actually, we'll take a look at the free high-stakes challenges and rewards you can unlock by completing them. Again, that is high stakes, and the getaway, the new limited time mode, and the grappler as well.
I expect within an hour, YouTube montages left and right of that thing. Places like Tilted Towers are going to be hot again, man.
Oh, for sure.
I cannot wait.
The Tilted Towers has definitely always been hot.
Have you seen Paradise Palms, though?
That is true. That is true. That is true.
Either way,
I love all the additions coming on in. The glider looking so sick.
The money flying out the back.
Yeah, the different challenges you can do to unlock the certain tiers. The skins. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. The grappler being added on through. All these updates, man, keeping the game fresh. You love to see it. Either way, game 1 should be up here momentarily. Predictions from you tonight. We've got some big names.
We've seen ups and downs from a lot of these well-known players. I would expect Nick Merckx to set up base in Tilted Towers, as we've seen him do a number of times in the past. Tfue has played exceptionally well in previous events, and I would look for a very high elimination count from him, plus some scoped AR shots. I even mentioned it, I think, day 1 or day 2. He's the kind of player that'll build up in the top of a tower, establish himself in the upcoming safe zone, and just gatekeep. And elimination counts will fly. But then, like we've said in the past, Chap. Have you seen Chap in previous summer skirmish weeks?
He's decent.
One of the best ground players up close.
Yes.
His management of structures, as we've said in the past, knocking walls down with the pickaxe, instantly replacing, so he could take control. So he's the one that can edit out the walls, make windows, and take shots.
It's pretty nuts what he can do. I actually caught up with him earlier on. Saw them all hanging out. He was with Poach, Tfue, and them. We wound up, I saw how Chap was playing. And again, there's Tfue, Nick Merckx competing tonight alongside Chap. But Chap had his keyboard, like, underneath his monitor, essentially. And then his mouse was, like, in front of the center of his body. So instead of how you normally have your keyboard on your left or your mouse on your right, whatever's comfortable for you, Chap was, like, playing, like, this. Does this make sense?
Yeah, no, hopefully,
are you seeing what I'm doing?
This doesn't make any sense.
That was how he was playing. That's where his mouse was.
No human plays like that, Jack. He's got to be a robot.
He was, and he was arguing with his teammates that that was the elite way to play. We'll see how he performs. There is a look at everyone stacked on in to the players area. The Fortnite Summer Skirmish, 8 weeks of competition. They've all led to this point. To this point. The reason I said that is because I got told participants in my ear. Let's see who's playing tonight, Lupo. There it is.
Named a lot of names that you've seen actually multiple days in a row. You have to remember if players came out here on their own volition and they did not qualify for the grand finals on Monday, they're given an opportunity. If they get up, if they got up bright and early and came back the next morning, they could give it another shot. You see Hysteria, one of those players specifically. I know that that tempo from FaZe had to do the same thing a number of times. But you know what that says to me, Jack? That they're here to win. They're determined. Absolutely. And I hope they take previous rounds as learning opportunities.
There's Geomach.
We watched Slossy yesterday.
Man, I mean, there's so many talented players at United's Ashton involved as well. And then over to the final page.
Nick Merckx,
Dimes is there. Nick
C9
Merckx,
Blind.
C9 Blind.
Blind is that's a name we saw come up with the Ninja Vegas event. It's the roster here is terrifying,
Flower,
to be honest.
Bartologist, General. Tonight is actually going to be, I think, the craziest night of competition we've had to this point. I think it's setting a little bit of a tone, but you know what? Right now, I just heard some beautiful sounds in my ear. Ladies and gentlemen, the battle bus is about to take off. Game number 1 starts right now. There you go. Make some noise. Who will qualify for tomorrow's $1.5 million grand finals? Folks, there are some heavy hitters, as we just saw in tonight's competition, and it is finally here.
Now, we've got a number of players jumping out early, going to that bottom left corner. This is actually the heaviest we've seen an over-the-water drop. Players trying to get as low as possible so they can open the chute as late as they can. The idea there, trying to hit, there's a couple buildings down there with chest spawns early. Greasy Grove is an easy drop there, or even Flush Factory. You see, it looks like a pair. You see kind of spin around in the air, looking at each other to do some tracking there. Tilted Towers, the home of Nick Merckx. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players dropping in there. But everywhere, as we've seen, is going to be populated. There's going to be players playing outside of POIs. Early trap from Nick Merckx, as we were saying, a player to watch. People have seen him quite a bit, and it feels natural here.
I would go as far as to say Nick Merckx knows that middle gray building in Tilted better than literally anyone in the world. He lands here every single game he plays. This is his home, essentially. He will navigate Tilted Towers better than arguably anyone out there. We'll take off his perspective for a second and swap on around, as there's a lot of engagements going on around the map. You see here, Wheels, Rex, Slang, all getting involved early on.
Now, you were mentioning Nick Merckx, just to use him as an example, but there's a number of players that are like this. People have drop locations that they trend to. And competitive players, they're going to learn that about their opponents before they come into games like this. So I would almost guarantee you that people that are dropping there, they know what a play there. The tack shotgun, green tack, a pair of shots there secures the first elimination for Rex, but he's not done yet. He's got the remainder of a 1v1 here. He's at 54 HP. That tack comes in big and gets Wheels for the double.
Wow, that last crit right there saves him, as Rex was one bullet away from getting dropped early on, but now 2 elims. And remember, we've got to stress the points, how it all works. If you get 3 elims, you earn yourself a point. 3 to 4. 5 to 6 elims is 2 points. 7 plus elims is 3. If you place in the top 10, you earn 1 point. If you get second or third, you get 2. And if you earn the Victory Royale, it's a plus 3. Godbat on your screen, he just earned himself an elimination. You saw Hysteria actually nearby with full HP, but now it looks like we're heading out over to Retail Row, where multiple players are stacking up with some big engagements about to begin.
So Kairos in the southwest corner of Retail. This is a pretty common drop. If you're looking to push into Retail, because you see a number of players move in there, these 2 houses out here are a good spot to hit. There's a lot of brick. There are a ton of just stray trees you can pick up, and I believe 3 chest spawns, 2 or 3 chest spawns in those 2 buildings. And if nobody else goes, there's confident ammo. But right here, the third partying on Frankie, TK.
You can, for people at home, explain the term third partying for someone maybe tuning in for the first time tonight.
So 2 players are in a 1v1 situation. Maybe they're build battling. Maybe like you saw there, they're in kind of a medium range fight where they've both built mini bases just to establish some layers between the opponents. And a third player enters the engagement from kind of a side angle, almost an angle that isn't going to get seen initially. They take shots at just the right time to try and secure one of the eliminations, which is exactly what you saw Sakairos do here, but he's got to box himself in because his opponent has the top-down advantage. Those pyramids to block ramp pushes courage are super important, especially the timing. You can catch people almost inside. Now, that edit, do you want to talk about how dirty that edit was?
That was a nice little play there. He moved and began to run to the opposite side of the ramp and then rotated it and then drop him on that opposite side. He's trying to break down his top structure because he's out of materials. Does tag his opponent once there, continuing to use that pickaxe, and he's realizing no mats. He's got to try to drop his opponent down to his level. Will it work? There it is. Can't quite hit a shot there as he is blocked yet again. The fadeaway won't have an opportunity there. Just continuing to use this pickaxe. Now he's got him on his level. This is his chance. Zakairos can't get it.
Loses track of Pupper in the middle of all the building.
As Pupper gets the elim.
Back and tilted. Joker Untamed pushing on his opponent right now. Lifts a shot to chop him. Gets lavish with a follow-up. And you saw there he ended with 1 HP. You saw it going down to the bottom.
Just, again, show off just how much I know about Fortnite. You actually can't get weaker than having just 1 HP. That's the lowest amount of health you can have.
Jack, you're not wrong.
There you go.
Not wrong.
You're welcome to slide paid.
Established in the UI building. Back over here to set the destroys. Kev is at the sports complex to the west of Tilted, but he's not alone there. Jalakias is hiding underneath, and they're going to do a little bit of creeping. The audio cues, super important. Even editing, speedy edits as he's trying to get up above. Could have just built one ramp, but instead double edits on the way through.
Look at this zone.
A lot of players, hopefully they're seeing this. They have 2 minutes and 52 seconds to start making a push because this zone is way west side. Snobby, greasy, tilted, even pleasant and maybe haunted with shifty shafts in there. This is centered on literally who we're watching right now. They're smack dab in the middle.
I'm actually really surprised to see him going for so many hand cannon shots. Does get tagged up quite a little bit. Yeah, that was maybe hoping he'd get a quick little one shot there. Won't work out.
Especially with materials that he's sitting on right now. Probably would have been safer to go for some like a ramp wall and then just crouch and stand up and peek and take a shot and re-crouch to hide behind. Just an update for everybody. Pupper and Rex both currently have 2 eliminations, but nobody has more than that, which means nobody's got a point yet. 3 is the bottom end for that.
Here's a replay near Haunted Hills. Diabolic.
There's this Christo.
When you got that much HP, you think you're going to basically win any engagement you're in, especially when your opponent has just about 100 to use. The zone closing on in. We mentioned just how far west this zone is. Going to force everyone on the east side of the map, from Retail, Tomato Temple, Risky Reels, Paradise Palms, Salty Springs, to make some moves west. And when you've got that river in the middle, there's a lot of gatekeeping opportunity here, Dr. Lupo, to be able to kind of shoot down on your opponents and maybe pick up some free elims.
Now, information just for people watching home, all of the Cloud9 players that didn't qualify yesterday are in this today, which means the entire roster could still end up in the grand finals tomorrow.
Yeah.
Speaking of big teams too, Liquid Chap, I saw the feed a moment ago, got his first elimination. Misfits taking out 42, which is too bad. I believe he was at 2 eliminations, one elim away from a point, but got cut early. We're still 60 plus remaining, so there's no points for 42 MTU. Just yet. Kev trying to take shots.
Gosh, he's just praying that hand cannon hits.
He's been relying. I don't blame him. The thing hits like a bus.
Oh,
if you're within.
One shots. Exactly. In this scenario. Kev's just going to go for this one, though. At some point, you think he's using a lot for this fight. When will this engagement finally come to a close? They're 1 level away from each other. Kev's still hunting, still hoping it can work out. You see bouncing up and down, trying to look for the best area to engage from. Only 90 mats, and these are these early game fights that some of the top players talk about. Not having the chance to farm, not having the chance to loot. Basically, it's nothing left to his name. There's the elim finally. But
on the rotation. I was almost expecting at some point, if he pinpointed his location with audio, to drop off the top, maybe suffer a little bit of fall damage, but catches opponent off guard with an immediate shotgun shot.
And look at that. The second the elim comes in, just starts hitting whatever materials there are. Here's Rio.
Sentinel already has 2 players in the grand finals as well. This will put him at 3 if Rio does extremely well today. And it looks like he's got the determination for it. Kyle 182 going down. Puts him at an elimination.
And here's Chap. 1 elim to his name to this point. Absolute beast in Fortnite from everything I've seen from competing against him here. Just does get tagged on up, so only 87 HP.
Look at his materials already, though.
And that's what Liquid are best at. And I'm wondering, oh my gosh, what can you buy with... I was wondering what you could buy with those slurp juices there.
Sure, we'll see here in a second.
Machine.
This is his first elimination earlier. Those shotgun shots, the accuracy, even from up top on Bearded Derp down below him.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah. So he actually does purchase a slurp for wood So that's, for me, a great investment when you're down to just 87 health. Remember, the slurp was updated recently. It's no longer just, 25 health and shield. It now gives you 75 in total. Starts with your HP. So they're at 87 health. He'll wind up getting 13 HP, and then the rest of that 75 winds up going in to his shield, so he'll finish with about 62 shield there as well.
Now, Courage, I'm going to try and think off the top of my head. I believe it's maybe it's like a 4x4 or 5x4 base, number of squares that this building takes up. Nick Merckx has not left that building yet. He hasn't left that 20 square area.
And that was Chap who actually just ran right past him. What an engagement that would have been if it was Chap versus Nick. But here you go, Chap in the build engagement now, trying to stay above his opponent.
He actually ended up in the same box and had to fall out to save himself. He's going to drop down. Are you kidding me?
That's confidence. That's confidence. Stops and is it impulse time? I believe so. He's going to look to just reset this fight, get away. If you heard, the opponent he was in the build battle with started getting tagged from a third-party engagement. Didn't want to have to deal with any of that. He'll go ahead, get away. He's actually burned through all of his wood now, down to just 60 left.
You saw his loadout, Courage. He had a blue AR, a green suppressed SMG, you can see right there, and the heavy shotgun. And out of that box that he opened, that he pulled the impulse nades from, there was a gold heavy sniper. Would you have picked it up and dropped potentially the blue AR?
Listen, Chap knows better than I do. You could have potentially done it, but at the same time, maybe it's not his play style that he's going with. Another vending machine purchase.
Now this is Ashen. His partner Jack has already qualified. The shots out here at Lazy Links, accuracy, mid-air accuracy with SMGs, even a gray doesn't matter. They're hitting their shots.
The swap weapon is so key. With the way that the meta of the game is right now, if you're running a shotgun, you want that quick little spray weapon you can go to. You take, hopefully, that shotgun shot, get some high damage. If not, you swap on over to that SMG to finish off the elimination. Chap now back up to 300 plus wood, 900 plus brick. I believe he might have gotten a second elim there. Now sitting at 2, so Chap just one elimination away from earning himself a point. That would be a fantastic start for one of the high-profile players here in the qualifiers tonight.
Now, I want to say I still think that the gold-heavy snipe, picking it up in this situation, especially with how slow he's potentially seen other players play during the previous 2 days of qualifiers, just getting a 150 damage shot on someone on the move means potentially
it's
Tfue up top. Chap
versus Tfue is the fight going on now here, folks. Who will come out on top? Tfue was just tagged by a third party, so he's got no shields left. Chap playing from the low ground right now. These are 2 of the best Fortnite players in the world. It's what this competition is all about. Chap now beginning to build on up, looking to match the height of Tfue, or he just disengaged here.
He's moving past and looking to box himself in. He's building multiple layers to this little catacomb to make it so that Tfue can't track which building he's in.
Yep. You
have a number of these little 1x1 chambers attached to each other, and players are going to have trouble watching. He's got multiple layers, and he has the edit right now, so we can look through. He's then looking through the wood planks. He's trying to find Tfue in the structure that he's in. You see there, the edit. He can see it already, even though there's a ramp in the way, so he's still saving the nade bounces off.
That grenade's actually going to drop a bunch of Chap's structure. Here's Tfue now, 1 elim to this point. Has a good amount of materials right now, just trying to keep those grenades going on in, and he's actually got 3 more in his inventory, so he's just going to continue to lob these on out, hope to knock down some of these opponents nearby.
You see there, he noticed he made a mistake and did not close the wall up, so he re-edited the ramp that he was standing on that he closed off the wall, close off the ramp again. Try to keep the layers between you and an opponent, because you don't know, Chap might have explosives as well. He could pre-fire a rocket and then laser down the single wall that might be separating him. So that's a smart play from Tfue to close his own build off.
And now he's beginning to move early because this next zone was revealed. He knows he's got to move a little bit closer towards Snobby Shores.
This is so far west.
This is the furthest west zone you could possibly have at this point, folks. So everyone continuing to move in this direction. You see Chap disengaged. You've also got Tenpo on your screen. Nick Merckx is still alive. He needs 1 more elim for a point. Here's his opportunity here. Will Nick Merckx get on the board early on? One of the top console players in the world, one of the biggest names out there, and he's got 2 players below him, both without shields, but even for Nick, he's quite low on HP himself. He's going to keep this high ground for the moment. Blue drum gun in hand.
While they were swapping weapons in that spectate view, Kyan did have a double barrel, which we've seen used all the time, constantly, especially in these close fights like this, because Courage up close, if you're within basically bludgeon range.
Nick wants this right now.
It's a 1 shot.
He's trying to make it happen. Grenade launcher now being used. Nick Merckx going back towards the high ground. I think he needs to make sure he's got himself a floor that he can potentially bounce pad with in case this structure gets knocked down. He knows there's someone just one tier below. Again, folks, if he gets a third elim right here, he will earn himself a point, and 1 point has been enough for multiple players to qualify in the previous nights. Kayon is so weak, but Nick doesn't know. He's going to try to peek on out. Is this his chance? No! The wall blocks the shot. And he's still got a player close to him who's got a ton of health. High amount of hit points. The zone is here. This is kind of an all-in. This is an all-in from Nick. I think he's going to bounce pad. He's going for it all, folks. It's going to get dramatic here towards these moments. No!
He got caught out, pinched between two players, the one underneath him and Kayun, who has
and look at how weak he
26.
26 health.
Would have taken one shot. Rio, as we were watching earlier, he's at 2 eliminations as well. By the way, Flower, a fellow Rogue member, did hit 4 eliminations, which means he has 1 point already.
And Kayun, who just eliminated Nick, that was his third elim, so he will be on the board as well.
Energy General has 3 eliminations. Rec has 3 eliminations. Misfits. Misfits GG. Gyre from Misfits has 3 eliminations. So there's only 5 players out of this with 1 elim at this point. You see on your screen right there, and 3 of those are already eliminated. So we have 2 left that have 1 point right now. Yep. A lot of 2s on the board that have already been eliminated, and 4 players right there. You saw Godvet, Diabolic, Rio, and Chap are sitting on 2 right now.
And this is something we've seen a lot from players, running just 2 weapons, maybe a drum gun and a shotgun, and keeping a high amount of heals. That's what Rio's doing right now. This was General. Found one right here. Hello, my friend. And
there's his first.
Sniffed out a second here nearby. Yeah, there it was. Boom. That was how Flower was eliminated.
Jack, I don't think it's tough to sniff out the grenade explosions there. And you saw actually a swap from the, you tend to favor the heavy shotgun, but he immediately picked up the double barrel.
Now I might be running the double barrel. How
players are they're definitely showing how powerful a weapon like that can be in competitive gameplay. Like this, that the top 10 means a point, and players are going to play slow. They're going to stack on top of each other and get very close.
So right now you're seeing Kayun, who still has found 0 heals in the last 5 to 7 minutes. What is the thought process right now with this little amount of HP?
I think catching a player rotating is extremely important. You see, he probably won't make too many moves until he knows that maybe potential targets or opponents are already engaged with someone else. He's going to wait to strike. If you move too early, you're going to be the one that gets caught off guard. You're going to be the one that people have their eyes on. You also don't want to engage anybody. You only have 26 HP. So the second that you're essentially sending up a signal flare to say, hey, I'm here, please shoot at me.
It's Vape Jesus now in the build battle with Dat Muffins. Muffins 1 elimination away from a point as well. You're going to hear us stress that a lot tonight, folks, because again, 1 point from our last couple nights of qualifiers was enough to get our 33rd, our last qualified person in. As Muffins just edits the window, gonna peek on out, see what he can spot, maybe get a free tag here with that first shot accuracy. He's got the double barrel, he's got 2 med kits, he's got minis, but here's the one thing he's really missing, Ben, materials, down to just 70 in total that he can build with.
Now, for people that, you won't be able to see this just yet, but right now, the white circle, the next safe zone where everybody's gonna have to move in 2 seconds, 2/3 of the players are already in there. Yeah. Only 7 are remaining outside of the safe zone, so there's not a whole lot of movement that has to come in. Looks like Snobby Shores was established by what was left of the player base for this game very early. You're going to see a lot of people like Tfue, very good at it. I think Nick Merckx called this a spaceship at one point, building these bases up high to get a top-down view on people. Look at these edits, too.
And this is a very Tfue-esque type play style right here, Ben. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna survive until the end, go for a victory royale. He's not someone that's going to be dropping 12 elims. He'll finish the game with whatever he needs to get a point on the board. Here's Colton, who won Heat 1 earlier on. A great use of the frag grenade there to pick up the elim.
The timing to blow up the built materials and then immediately just shoot in as he sees his opponent move. That kind of timing is key. That's forethought.
Yep. Now, as this game continues to move on, remember, top 10 earn a point. We're at 19 players remaining right now. Everyone in the lobby thinking, hey, I see a survive a little bit longer to get a free point on the board.
This is a third-party opportunity, and then some. You got 2 players literally mixing it up on top of each other, and Crunch has the LMG just spraying to see if he can land any shot. That LMG not super accurate from the distance.
There's 2 players in this.
And there's 1.
Eliminates 1. Crunch, I think he wants to follow this up right now.
2 eliminations that put him 1 point, 1 elimination away from a point. just bombing rockets, and he's blown through those explosive rounds very quick. The rocket ammo, which typically you see held onto until late, but right now he's so focused on getting this elimination that it doesn't matter.
I think he goes for this now.
Point.
He got
tags on him. There's
he
no
got
more
tags. He knows this player is under 100 health, and it's time now for Crunch to go for this. He's getting third party yet again. He's got a ton of materials. I mean, look at this: 900 plus wood, 800 plus metal. But he wants this limb right now, trying to make sure his opponent can't pop any minis to heal themselves. It's Horrified just below him. 18 players left. Remember, top 10 earn a point.
The edits are so fast in here. It looks like there might be a couple stumbles as he's trying to take a corner out, or just the top line of 3 on a wall, and it's maybe getting a little flustered in there because he knows he's got somebody else watching him in this engagement. He wants to secure the elimination on someone, like you said, he knows he's weak already, so if somebody beats him to it, that misses out on that elim and potentially puts himself in a bad position against whoever's watching.
Well, Crunch is still bouncing around, going for these quick edits, looking through these walls, knows there's someone just below. Here comes the zone. People gonna have to move. There's Sean pushing forward. Tempo still alive with maxed HP. Colton, who we've been talking a lot about so far today, gone. Playing the high ground.
The position in the next zone is potentially going to start scraping a few players off. Not too many. It's on the side of the hill.
Yep.
You hear the traps going down just to prevent people from kind of infesting the structure that has already been built. You're going to see people on the southwest side is already empty because everybody kind of had to shift with that bottom level outside of the mountain.
So right there, he was actually trying to connect his build to the mountain again to make sure that if the bottom was shot out, he would still have another layer to protect him. I don't think he got it off. Here comes General and Colton, though, moving on in. Everyone trying to make it out of the zone. Their little boat down to just 15 HP. Tempo still quite healthy. Look at everyone hiding in these builds. Chap and Tfue, they just moved in next to each other. They're neighbors.
Yet again.
He's about to ask if he's got extra salt left over. He's up for a recipe tonight.
Chap's looking for a 30 limit. Might end up being Tfue. We'll have to see here in a minute. The next circle is going to force everybody to move. You see the mini map on your top right. Everybody's going to go southwest. Plus, it's very uphill.
That's the thing. It's also uphill on this mountain. And whenever we see these zones on these mountains, Lupo, many people typically drop. This is going to be one where I predict we don't know our top 10. Like, we're still at 18 people. It's been 2 minutes and 42 seconds since the last time someone was eliminated. But I can promise you, the Storm is about to take matters into its own hands and have people get dropped left and right.
A stat that really highlights how top down, how close combat engaged. Like that shot right there, Chaos Gone gets the elimination with a shotgun as his opponent pushes up. But the longest range elimination thus far this game is 123 meters.
Yeah,
that's
and there you go. Storm just drops someone. Colton and Base Soldier each get a limb. Colton then dropped to the zone. Here comes the builds from everybody. Tfue still in this one. 12 players remaining. Top 10 earn a point. Will Tfue strike with a point early on here? You've got to think he's probably chasing Chap up this mountain as he's trying to keep on his level. One player close. Tfue going for the engagement. Won't find it yet. It's Chap taking down Tfue, and you see the smile there as he looks over. And Chap's not done yet. He gets a second elim there, putting him at 4. My goodness, Chap showing up big here in game 1.
The next circle is going to be worse. Chap getting dropped down to fall. He only has 30 left. He's got to box himself in and take every second. The second he has an opportunity to heal Courage, he's got to go for it because the fall damage combined with people taking shots from all over the place and just kind of how they look like little beehives attached to the side of this mountain.
Yep.
Now the next rotation won't be as risky. And here you go. This is Chap from just a moment ago. This is the bait. He saw it coming. That was switch.
That was Tfue getting eliminated in 11th, which means he doesn't get the point. That was him with 2. He had what, 2 elims and was in 11th. So if Tfue eliminates Chap there, he gets 2 points and arguably guarantees himself a spot tomorrow. Heartbreaking for FaZe Tfue fans out there.
He's got 3 more rounds though. Jack, it's not over yet. 6 players left. Chap, you're watching here with 4 eliminations of his own. 1 more gets him to 2 points.
He's got no mats. He's got to go for this. There's one. Hello, Chap!
Are you kidding me?
Chap! Can this man be stopped? 6 elims now. Top 3. There's another point as well.
Now, Tempo, one of his opponents above him, well known for being exceptional at this game. You're going to have to watch out for this little 1v1 here, especially, I mean, Chap only has 2 builds. You hear the C4 going out too. Here comes the structure coming down. He's going to have to stay on his toes, watch for the edits you see above him. Now might be the time. If he's going for another third party, he's going to take shots. He's going to try and see if he can get a drop right there. Go for the shotty shot. He's going to try and drop the surface out. He has enough ammunition, Courage, to do anything that he can to get him to fall down on top of him. Only 75 HP, though. He does have 2 traps left.
He's got to break through manually to get to this point. He had it! Tempo! Says, hello, my friend Chap. It's time to take a break for game 2. OT Divine versus Tempo. Divine has 0 limbs. You saw Tempo just eliminate Chap. The shot's coming downrange. He's out of builds, and he wanted to drop down, but then the trap went off, and he's got to wait. Whoa, I can't do that yet. Trying to spray on in. 2 players left. It all comes down to this. Tempo drops Divine to just 17 HP. There's the elim, and there's the win. Tempo, congratulations. 4 eliminations, the victory royale. A monster game 1 from him.
Now, a number of times, even the last 2 days, we saw Tempo come to these qualifiers, and maybe the thought was take a different approach. You can even see here just some quality replacements.
Look at the builds he still had left. 700 wood.
Get into the team.
Wow. Congratulations, Tempo. In that victory royale, you see all smiles on his face. He knows just how big that is. So what, he got 4, I believe 4 limbs?
4 limbs
and a victory royale, so a point from that.
That's 4 points.
4. I mean, at this point, Tempo.
I'll see you on Monday. I mean,
we'll
I'm
see
just
tomorrow,
going to say it.
Yeah. And again, victory royales are also the top tiebreaker as well. So somehow, if 33 players all have 3 points, you'd think Tempo would be right, towards the top of that, or 4 points, sorry, would be right towards the top of that. What a monster way to start day number 1. This place is packed right now, live in PAX West. Again, if you have a badge, come on in. If this is what it's like tomorrow for the $1.5 million day, this crowd's getting into it, and I love it. Having such a blast. That was just game 1 of 4 we have tonight. We've got all sorts of replays from that ridiculous game 1. Here's General from NRG. I mean, what a way to kick off day 3 of these qualifiers.
Absolutely. We saw both top-tier play and some very close finishes from a number of players that we've had our eyes on for a while. People that we've been anticipating, players like Tfue playing in this event every day thus far. Flower going down. General is just attention to position. The timing on dropping in and hitting the shots at just the right time. It's wonderful to see players so aware of their surroundings. Look at this shot, too. The edit out takes Pacifist down and sits on multiple eliminations just from this one engagement at the sports complex.
And you also mentioned so many big names. You saw the battles that went down. I mean, Liquid Chap versus Tfue is kind of anything you could ever ask for as a competitive Fortnite fan. And speaking of Chap, we'll see some of his moments here. It all began back in the sports complex just outside Tilted. Went for those early game engagements. This was that second one we missed that got him all. Look at all these materials he winds up picking up. Puts him all the way towards 900 brick, but this was everything. Versus Tfue. If he dies here, he gets 0 points. Instead, gets that elim, earns himself 2 points alone with that elim, follows up with another as well.
That means that elimination on Tfue from Chap was literally, they were at the same place.
Yeah,
they were both 11 remaining, both only 2 elims.
Then he just drops on down and says, you know what, I feel like chasing more. And even at the end here, where I thought he was going to play this low ground and hope people drop down towards him, he just kind of goes for it all. Starts breaking into the builds, starts pushing towards him. Tempo with the quick edit did kind of shut him down. But
you have to give it to him, though. Yeah. The knowledge to know exactly when to push when other opponents are shooting at each other. It's listening. They hear the cues of shield dropping off. They hear the cues of players moving, even bandaging. That's the right time to push, and he's on top of his game every time it comes to that.
Works out for him there. Tempo eliminates Chap at the end and then goes on to secure that victory royale. We'll watch that one more time, too. Here's the top-down look. Tempo had so much health. He had maxed wood here. Literally, the other 2 players had 0 mats. And you see, even with that drum gun spam, he was more than fine with waiting it on out. Times it to where he knows the drum gun is about to be out of ammo. Doesn't spam another wall. Instead, the second his opponent runs out of ammo, that wall breaks, and then he just takes the free shotgun shot. Textbook stuff from Tempo.
He had just removed shield, too, so you had multiple signals to say now's the time to push, try and get the vine and get the win, and he did.
Did just that. So 4-point game from him. Already starting to see some of these big names come out early on of our 4 games tonight. I mean, we're going to get ready for game number 2 in a moment, but we've got actually the standings all ready to take a look at. Let's see where people stack up. You got to think Tempo's at the top there, and yes, he exactly is. But because of that tiebreaker, him and Chap both have 4, but he got the victory royale, putting him just above.
Now you see Liquid Chap 6 elims, 4 points. Jumpman with 3 eliminations and 2 points. But look at this, OT Divine, 0 eliminations. He played the slow game, methodical, waiting, because he knew that I mean, you get to second or third, that's 2 points. You don't have to take anybody out.
There's all sorts of win conditions. Oh, Tfue with 0 points, but at the top because of his placement alongside the limbs he had. Could not be closer to having 2 points. Either way, still finding himself in the top 33 at this moment. There's a look again at all the players ready to hop on, and the battle bus should be taken off here very, very soon. So intense. These live environments, completely different from playing to the comfort of your own home, Ben.
Now, I've got to reiterate, I know I've done it the previous 2 days. I got to do it again. These guys are all these players they're in a different building from us, which means they can't hear a single thing that we're saying.
Yep.
There's no outside noise. It's very quiet in there, so they have the ability to concentrate. They can hear everything, and it's the environment over there is, I mean, it's top tier. Granted, some of these players, they're not necessarily, it's not the gear they're used to using, but I'm going to be honest with you. We've seen some of these players put on a good show, and let's see them do it again, Courage.
Game number 2.
Game 2, the final day for qualifiers, trying to get in on a Monday, $1.5 million. And Jack, where are they dropping?
Where are we dropping? Well, we're following tempo. We have to off that performance in game 1. Looks like he's heading right back towards Snobby, and that's where he landed last game and had the perfect zone. So he's like, hey, let's hopefully have it work out that way again. So he'll go ahead and fly towards that area. And when you're flying on in, spinning around, looking for exactly where other opponents could be dropping on in from. Looks like he'll have someone there on his screen. Can't quite read the name. But either way, some early engagements possibly for tempo here.
Unlucky loot location came around with just some ammunition. You see a lot of these players, even while traveling, they're going to smack every single, any material source they can, because early game fights, Courage, 1 or 2 builds can make the difference between winning a 1v1 or not. And look, Slaying inside the house came up with a chug jug. He's got a blue AR already, and Tempo sitting on a gray tactical shotgun at this range is not going to be nearly effective. Shotguns, you got to be very up close. That's why he's using the build. Trying to get in. It gets a shot through the window. Are you kidding me? 80 damage. Leaves Slaying at 20. This chug jug could come in big if Tempo lets him get it off. Tempo lets him use it. But Tempo's got to push.
Remember, he's only got 30. He's been tagged twice already. But this AR does 33 damage. So Tempo still has 34 health, meaning Slaying is to hit 2 bullets. While he's only got 20 HP, Tempo has a shotgun.
The top right corner, you can see just how close these 2 players are. Third partying.
Tempo got a shield off. Tempo got 2 shields. Is he max shields now? And he's popping a chug jar. Are these guys both about to have 200 HP?
Full reset. Slaying only has 4 builds. Tempo's bandage. So Tempo's going to be at 175 if Slaying lets him get the entirety of the bandages off, which he's going to. Slaying's at 200.
Do you think Tempo heard that? I can't tell if Tempo heard that.
The trap placement. Hopefully Tempo heard that and does not push through the window.
He's only got 8 bullets. Forget everything else. He's only got 8 bullets. He's got to hope against his limb right here. He's out of ammo. He's out of ammo. He's dancing around. He's got at least a gray pistol. That's his last line of defense.
He's got to push. And Tempo gets the elimination.
And you see, no. Can't believe it. Somehow, in the 2 rooms these guys loot, they each get max shields and a chug jug. Here's Nick Merckx early on, facing off against Ryan Rex. The dual pistols. Okay, Nick, earning an early limb. One of the first of the game.
At that point, there were only 97. There were 97. So that was 98th place. 84 left right now, though. 2 minutes and 14 seconds until the circle moves. This is kind of a centralized northeast main circle, which means a lot of players, regardless of where they dropped, maybe only flush factory at this point, or even lucky landing potentially because of the path these players are going to have to take. Should be concerned. Everybody else can kind of take their time and build up some materials as they move. And Nick is totally fine inside Tilted. He's going to go through here. Players will always smack out all the furniture inside. It's not worth a lot of resources, Jack, but
every little
you
bit
knock
counts.
them down pretty quick, and there's a lot of them.
Early game when you can only build 10 walls, getting enough mats to maybe build 2 more, that's 20%. You can wind up earning yourself. Oh, big fall there from Jumpman. Sakairos now has the high ground. He actually falls and trying to hit a shotgun shot. Doesn't connect yet, and he's out of materials.
Jumpman trying to get the little peek over the top there. You saw him jump to try and take a shot. Backing out, hiding in his own box. He does have 5 bandages, maybe an opportunity to heal up, but Sakairos he has to apply pressure, which he is. And Sakairos goes down to Jumpman, very accurate. You saw multiple crits in there, and the shield disappearing. Sakairos only 28 HP.
He had 28 health.
He didn't take a single point of damage.
That's one that you want back. If you're Sakairos now, Kayun One player above, one player nearby. It seems like everyone that landed risky is now getting in their fights. This big shield could make all the difference. There you go. Wants a third party this engagement. Shotgun shots coming on in. Can only build 2 walls. That's Joda just above. That was a perfect spray. Knocks him all the way down. Brilliantly done by Kayun.
Kayun earns that elimination. Knowing the exact location where your opponent stopped up top, maybe potentially built based on the walls that were still being built mid-engagement. He says, you must be behind this ramp.
Here's Cryo at Junk Junction.
Big shot takes Stratify out. Point blank tack hits like a bus, and the rate of fire is high enough that you can unload rounds, unload shotgun shells, and deal a lot of damage very quickly.
So it's kind of known by a lot of people. Chap likes to go to Wailing Woods, and he's already got 700 wood. He's pushed towards risky. He's got 1 limb to this point.
Looking to pick up a second quickly underneath him.
Yep.
Drops in the side there.
He hears the double barrel. Now that it's been shot once, I think this is Chap's green light to go for this. Trying to stop him from getting the reload off. Chap continuing to spray on down. Drum gun in hand. So darn good for shredding these walls. But he doesn't have a ton of ammo. Does take a pretty healthy hit right there.
Kayun picking up his second elimination.
Ooh, you heard the reaction from everybody here. The double barrel, when you are that close and it does that pure like 160 damage. Yeah, that's why it's now the new meta of shotguns to use in competitive Fortnite.
You saw right there that golden double barrel, even at kind of moderate range for a shotgun like that, the spread is very high and the damage drop off happens quickly. Over 100 damage while jumping over the top of his opponent. A quick 2-shot. And this is Tfue out in the little Wild West, the set of Pueblos out here. He's trying to hunt down a player underneath him. Compact SMG, a shotgun, an AR, and a hunting rifle. Stalking his opponent. Now he has tons of materials at this point. We've seen players start to favor this drop out here because the larger rocks, Courage, come away with. Wow, what a shot! Yep. Tfue picks up his second elim. Those large rocks, like I was saying, they have 50+ brick in them, and they only take a few melee hits.
He was blind from Cloud9. 1 limb to this point. Again, you see immediately how these players just begin to break down structures when they realize they have so little materials. Whoa.
All back up with Nick Merckx looking for anything. You get a 9 and a 20 off there. The 50 damage just pushes up on Lavish and gets him to the bottom of the staircase there.
Nick's got 3. Nick's got 3 limbs. That's a point for Nick Merckx, putting him on the board as well. And it looks like he wants to go for more. He's not done yet.
Airco, a player we've seen a number of times in the past. It looks like Nick Merckx might be getting third-party. Multiple players here in Tilted as he's trying to back out of this engagement and saying the position I'm in right now, he's getting shot from above. It's not good enough to go for an engagement that somebody already has the top down on him. You see in the feed, Tyler's getting double flower out. Here to Derp going down to a 189-meter rifle shot, but Nick found a chug jug.
Nick's like, sure, I'll take that. That sounds good to me, my friend. And Nick is one of the best players at navigating Tilted, right? Knowing the ins and outs, the little escape routes you can have right there, just sneaks away in towards this new building. Uses that chug jug to get to max HP. This is Crunch, who we highlighted a little bit back in game 1 with his quick edits and his fast building. And right there, shows off the edit power, gets that a limb.
Kevin Crunch both west side of Loot Lake, but they're not alone here. Tempo a little ways away between Tilted and their current location at these factories on the west side of Tilted. We might see a third party from him if he hears the engagement. They are in they're close to the edge of the zone though. Courage, they have 1 minute and 44 seconds before they have to move, but just so people are aware, there are still 2 players outside of the zone coming from Pleasant Park and Shifty Shafts, so we might see some drops to the storm and the feed here. But Kevin Crunch looking for each other. Meanwhile, C9 Blind, Salty Springs locks himself in. He's listening, and the turbo build's going to protect the wall. He just has to hold down left mouse click while his opponent's trying to smack it out. He still owns it, so he can edit his way out, and he's going to use that to his advantage. A lot of this structure, I believe, is still his, so he can edit these, but his opponent, like we've seen a number of times, they're going to smack him out. They're going to use a pickaxe, replace it, so they take control of the wall. They decide when the hole is open. 162.
Okay, well, now that he knows that this player's got under 40 HP, he just wants this, and that's what you talk about with him owning a lot of these walls. He can edit through. Here's another engagement. Can he clean up the limb? There it is. That was NRG Kasid who gets cut down.
Blind's got to feel good about that, especially after last round. I love seeing these players improve on their own gameplay, but Double of Flowers stuck inside the house, already super low HP, walks in on Flowers, trying to use turbo build to keep his opponent out, but it wasn't fast enough, and he had already been through the wall location, gets a shot off, a very easy elimination just because of the low HP of Flower already.
You'll see, whenever anyone's in this scenario, they never sit still. Even right now, Pupper, yeah, he'd love to just sit still and kind of take his hands off the keyboard, but you never know if there's a sniper aiming in at you. Always strafing, always making sure he's not an easy target. We'll take a couple pop shots, and you hear that? You literally hear that?
The reason he's
whoever just shot that sniper, thank you for making my point.
Giving credibility to Courage just by a single sniper shot.
When you're playing in these games, even at home, in any match, you always have to think with the mindset that there's a sniper watching me. Even if there's not, always think that there could be. Because again, those third-party opportunities, someone's hunting, someone's watching at all times.
Colton, the winner from our first heat, goes down to Jumpman's tack shotgun. My apologies, double barrel up close there, and Jumpman's going to top off. Very edge of retail, very edge of the safe zone. Yeah, 3 eliminations. That's a point. He doesn't have to move very far. 47th Architect.
You think he's in a great spot here, but he is quite low on AR ammo.
And the zone's moving. He has to decide whether it's time to engage, which it looks like his opponent says it is, and Frankie gets the elim. His 47th trying to move out. And that's actually Frankie's 3rd elimination. That's a single point for him, which already puts him in a fantastic spot. His loadout is actually exceptional right now, too. 2 full shields. He had a bolt action.
But
he
he's
had
got
a Tommy
so
gun,
little HP in the zone. That's the thing.
He's got to move.
He still has a minute. The zone still has a minute to push. So he's got to run so far. There's people nearby. Nick's got someone just above. I think he'll break down wheels here any second. This could be another elimination for Nick Merckx, which would put him at 4. He still has a campfire to use, so even though he's in the zone, still in an okay position. Trying to match the building of wheels. They're on the same level now. Nick trying to swap to that shotgun. There's the elimination.
Shot on wheels.
Nick Merckx hasn't been stopped yet, folks.
He's got a med kit, too. He's in a great spot to keep on moving with the zone. He's actually, looking at the map, he's relatively far out. He has quite a ways to go. He's still all the way across Dusty. Hopefully there's more than one med kit there, or maybe he has a launch pad, because otherwise he's in a tough spot.
Yeah, he most certainly is. Pupper. Now remember, when this zone closes, it's going to start hitting even harder. Is this the second? Is this the second? Yeah. This player's now trying to medkit to stay alive here. Pupper getting chunked on down. He's got to stop and use this medkit. It's hitting for 2.
Cut off. This means it's a 1v1 fight, and he doesn't have any eliminations left. So no matter the outcome, no points for Pupper.
Both of them drop.
Now it goes down as well. You see all their loot sliding down the ramp.
The Storm is quite good at getting eliminations, and you see it there over towards Hysteria. Just took down Yo-Yo. Keep it up. That's his first elimination of the game.
Now, this is actually Hysteria's 3rd time through the qualifiers. He played through all the heats before this and has done very well in those, but each qualifier he's gotten very close. I remember overhearing he got to 11th place multiple matches, I believe, yesterday, which is just one spot short of getting even just a single point, which could have put him in on Monday.
This is where the little huts begin to get built. The 1x1s, the little bases to
That's just a feels bad, man.
Over to Christo.
Rip.
Above Lonely Lodge won't be safe for this next zone, but he's playing like this because he's got WBG Ranger just below him. Ranger tries to spray on down. The trap comes in. There's 150, and oh no, Christo. A little bit of a panic there.
It looked like, I don't know if you noticed, was he attempting the rift to go his way out of there just in the last second of the trap damage?
Possibly, as now Kayun thinks he's got a free elim opportunity in a 3rd party. What he doesn't know is that that player below took 0 damage, so they're both around the same amount of HP. And as a player, Lupo, you can sometimes use that to your advantage. Play mind games to your opponent. Oh, he thinks I'm weak because I just got in this engagement. Meanwhile, he's still more than ready to fight again.
Remember, too, if that trap is still in there, an opportunity for a lot of damage.
A lot of AR ammo being used. Keep an eye on the amount that Kayun has. Just about one and a half clips left.
I believe if Ranger makes it to Monday, that's the 4th player for WBG that would make it through, which is incredible. It's an excellent roster. Nick Merckx in the feed takes C9 blind out.
Jeez, Nick Merckx is a man on a mission.
5 elims, that's 2 points already. That might lock Merckx in for Monday.
Oh yeah, no, Nick's in a brilliant position because he had elims last game too. Here's Fade in a little build battle around one of these houses. Stops Joshua right there. Once he gets the high ground, he just goes for the quick shotgun shot. That heavy, so darn good when you get the headshot crit. And this is from Ranger's perspective. Drops him down, places the trap, edits the wall above him, swaps to the shotgun. It happens so quick, but every single one of those actions was calculated. A much deserved limb right there. Is he gonna go for this? Is he gonna go for this? Oh, gets blocked.
One of the most aggressive launch pads we've seen so far. He's trying to get the drop in on him up top. The reason he went for it, or potentially went for it, is because the opponent at the top of the tower
got 6.
He was already in an engagement, so he kind of had the drop on him. But there's 3 players in this box. Triz is nearby, 2 across the street. Nick Merckx, like I said, was 6 eliminations.
Leading this game. What an absolute beast. He's blind in second, and the limbs is already out. This one, Nick trying to break through these walls. He's made enough through. The spray with the drum gun isn't enough. No!
Just short of the 7th elimination. That would have been 3 points there.
I'm surprised he didn't swap to the heavy shotgun. I think he was hoping that maybe the drum gun spray would have been enough, but if he's got the heavy shotgun right there, I think Freak's dead 10 times over.
Potentially, or even to a trap play in that situation. They were in the same box. He owned a wall. There were a lot of options. JP2 from Luminosity Gaming.
We've seen him play with Cypher, I believe, before.
Chris from C9 and 5.
Minigun, Freak, panic building. The minigun shreds if you land some of those hip fires.
Now, we saw yesterday, though, the minigun kind of biting back a little bit against players that decided to use it. Multiple engagements in a row, Courage, where minigun just didn't work out.
Look at Chris.
In the right hands, it's powerful.
Wants this fight so badly. The one thing Freak can do, maybe use this heavy shotgun. And Chris gets the elim. Geomach still alive. If you've never met Geomach in real life, I'm pretty sure he's 8 foot tall. That's real.
We'll have to stat check that one, Courage. The push from the east side. You have 17 seconds, 28 players left, and after this circle closes is when things start to get chaotic with circle moves. The Kriz, we just saw on the feed a second ago, that elimination that we were watching. He's at 2. 1 more versus who he's against right now. That'll give him 3. That's a point. This drum gun push, we've seen it a ton of times, and it paid off. But watch the trap. Horrify almost gets it off. And Kriz falls down below, just barely dodging. You heard it go off right there, the reset. So it attempted to do damage. He dodged his way out. He would have survived. He had over 150 HP, but man, those last-ditch efforts, they pay off in just the right situations. Fast, it's Crispy trying to push his way up.
He's going to chase us down. Look for maybe his own little hut to build into. Doesn't have a lot of materials.
Right at it.
Yeah, he wants to go for this. I think it's more of a desperation play.
Boxing himself literally next door, he's going to take ownership of some of these, or potentially even knock him down. We'll see here in a sec. He's decided to layer himself up. He knows that Tyler's above him, is getting shot from a third party, and there's a number of players around him. So he says, I'm not going to expose myself too much right now. You guys fight it out. I'll wait to see if I can pop out. He only has very little materials left. But Tifu in the feed, you saw there, just got an elimination on Rex. The fight here, Crispy deciding it might be time to make a move. Relocating, trying to build up all these layers, as many as he can. He's going to push up. He's out of materials, though. 7 wood, 7 brick.
Oh, no.
And an interesting edit. The corners there kind of create that little diagonal bridge with the walls, but it's enough that you can sneak down the edge.
A little frantic, not going to lie. Shivsy goes down, Resame goes down, and Emad also goes down. So now there's 22 players getting close towards that top 10 threshold.
Crispy's right here to kind of keep quiet. You see in the top right, there's 4 or 5 players in the area around him, all kind of building and layering on top of each other just to try and stay safe as the circle is going to get ready to move here.
Just listen to how much is going on around him. And he's got no materials. He can't do anything. It's Kayun's 3rd elimination. Go ahead and swap to replay this. Quick little edit on the window. Peekaboo.
Takes JP2 out. Tempo, I'm assuming, just eliminated Young Prism. You see that on the feed. Perfect. That's 2 eliminations.
Look at his reaction. Like, oh, gosh.
He's got max wood, 200 brick. He's in a decent position because right now, you see that this mountain that's next to him, that's natural cover that he can use. He can push up the left side of the map once the circle starts to move. Tfue over here, 3 eliminations, that's 1 point. So he's in a better position than it was even last game.
I'm going to say right now, for the big names that we've seen participate, this has been some of the best performances so far, right?
Oh, yeah.
Where, like,
Nick Merckx, Chap, Tfue all putting up a good show.
Tfue, Nick Merckx, already, Tempo, already with points on the board. Sitting in great positions to qualify for tomorrow. Again, I have to stress it, folks. We've had qualifiers all this week. It's to earn positions for tomorrow's $1.5 million grand final. It's a holiday. Tune on in. Tell everyone to be there. If you're live in the venue, you will want to be here to secure a spot here early on tomorrow. Do not miss this live in person. This crowd's going to get nuts.
And Tfue doing something you said even before. This is a pretty common tactic. He's very good at waiting, pacing his timing. He's going to try and drop the structure that his opponent was using to push in, but it wasn't enough. Multiple layers on that from these top tier builders, so they can. He still even got in Tfue, who's under his opponent's underneath him now, and he's got to wait. The rock's coming in. A time bounce pad to fly away, try and get out, and this is what we were seeing earlier. Crispy's down at the bottom of that catacomb of structure. Kriz getting the elimination in the feed there on Nikiski, I believe is the name.
This is Tfue and Tempo.
Right on top of each other, literally
Teammates.
a box away.
Not this, though. Not here when it's all solos. Tfue using the bounce pad, trying to soar forward. Thankfully for him, none of those drum gun bullets connect. He's made it to the closest spot to this next zone. Sign of a great player, making sure positioning for the next move. Now getting sprayed again. I just realized, look at his materials. I mean, this is bad.
10 builds left. I believe that's why you saw he built up that layer in front of him, but didn't cap the top off. Plus, he started to get shot from above. He kind of waited. He knew he had to time the builds correctly, because if he had spent all his material earlier, that means that his opponent shooting from above could have potentially busted through and taken shots on him, maybe even eliminated him. You see there, he actually flew early. He made it into the zone, Tfue, but this is where things get crazy. Courage. Everybody's moving at the same time. 4 eliminations for Kriz here. 1 more gets him a second point, plus there's 16 left. 6 more players go down. That's another point for anybody left remaining.
Kriz has all these shields. Going to get back up to 100 shields. Still 16 players left. Expect a few to begin to drop here. Fade takes down Jayamok. You see Cryo lost to the storm. Another engagement going down as Crispy's trying to sneak on in. 14 players left. Crispy still has no builds. Tfue eliminates Base Soldier, which will maybe give him materials to hold on to. As Triz, yes, he gets 500 wood. That's a game-changing elim for Tfue. Remember, folks, in game 1, Tfue died to Chap when he was 1 elim and 1 position away from earning 2 points. Here he's earned 1 point this game and another elim plus 2 more elims in the total game. Top 10 would get him another.
Now, we were watching Crispy a second ago, who was sitting on 7 and 7 for his wood and brick, and you saw he made his way in underneath. He's in the bottom, and he hid next to a tree, but opted not to knock it down because the tree, the setup inside that little catacomb, the builds that were around it, he's totally covered. He can hide in the bottom of the tree, and players that are sneaking by, he might get the drop on him. He might have an opportunity for another elimination, rather than knocking the tree down and coming out with maybe 30 wood. There's 3 builds that it would get knocked down so fast, it might not matter.
Tempo in a fight with Bumboy. There's another elim for him. Tfue just trying to position himself. Already in that next zone. Made it to 11th. This is where he died last time. Not the case here. Tempo gets another.
Everybody that's left alive right now does get +1 point. They're all top 10. Kriz coming away with a double in the shotgun. Eliminations of the feed. Crispy then follows up and takes Kriz out with an SMG. And Tfue trying to establish himself up top, somewhere safe. He's 6 remaining, 4 eliminations. He needs 1 more for another point.
He wants those, Matt. He wants that loot so bad.
He better. He's got 15 builds left total. And he's going to start to use them to try and get up top, opting out of going after those. But the Rockets coming in saying, nope, you got to go back down. Now's the time to try and make a positional decision. He's got to go down. That's exactly what he's going to do. He doesn't want to take too much fall damage. He's going to push in the zone. He's in the bottom fighting. Now Tfue gets another one. That's 5 elims. Makes it to top 3. 2 left.
All the loot's falling to Tfue. He's trying to drop on down. Can he drop his opponent in time? Tfue spraying out the build. Here he goes.
Are you kidding me?
Tfue with the win and the pop-off celebration. Dramatic Max in the final moments there. Tfue, a heartbreaking game 1, gave him the fuel to turn up there in game 2.
He's dropping. You see TNT Rain trying to get the shot off on the way in. An incredibly long drop, 2 eliminations for him. He did make it to second. That's 2 points still, which is, I mean, that potentially puts him in placement for Monday.
Yeah.
Right. But Tfue, what a game.
He's feeling very good after that. You love to see the emotions there, the pop off. He doesn't have.
Let's go, Tfue.
I almost expected him to try and find one.
Right. It's either way. You look at it right there, and we talk so much about materials. Doesn't panic, and it's on down. Players begin to fall because we talk so much about how awkward it is going up mountains there.
Oh, yeah.
They had to go down mountains, and once people started to get shot down, it was loot raining from the sky. It was like a never-ending llama.
Now, I think a player like Tfue, he spends a lot of time in playground mode. It's a great way to build. You just drop in, smack some llamas, get a ton of materials, and he practices his builds. He practices his edits and the speed at which he can do them. It definitely shows in a situation like that. He had no materials left. As I was saying, he was building up, and as soon as that rocket happened, as soon as it came out, he saw his structure was going to go down. It was time to edit his way down, because if fall damage happened, no matter how much HP you have, 100 is not going to stop you from a drop like that. So editing down, it saved him. He was able to fly down, slide down the hill, get an engagement at the bottom, and you saw so many players were eliminated like that in an instant, and it left them a 1v1 at the bottom.
It all dropped quick. It was all Tfue at the end, but there were many players making some highlight plays. Here's some from C9 Kriz. You mentioned the 2 elims we saw in the engagement feed. Here it is again, getting up close and personal with the double barrel. Will take down Misfits Freak.
This is 28 remaining. We saw that. That's the trap attempt from Horrify.
It wouldn't have
left him at 43, which it would have been a tough situation. That's not a lot remaining.
It would have been fun.
Towards the end of the game, he got the double and then was immediately eliminated afterwards. But that's a lot of eliminations. That's still a point. Plus, as we've seen the last couple days, 1 point and 5 or 6 eliminations, that could be enough to put you into Monday's grand finals.
I almost forgot that Nick Merckx was pushing towards 7 elims there. He finished with, I believe, 6. The man continues to impress me. Every time I'm like, okay, Nick's done. That's his craziest thing he'll do on this game. No, now, again, showing up to this LAN environment. I mean, thankfully for the other opponents, Nick playing with a shirt on, or else he would have used the intimidation factor of his traps.
Just flexing.
That basically go above his head. As here it is again from Tilted. You're in Nick Merck's domain. I'm surprised people are even landing here.
The number of those engagements within Tilted in which Nick can bait players into situations that he already knows his way around with inside this whip, the shotgun shot right there, that double barrel is vicious up close.
Yep.
And as I was saying, Nick's ability to bait players into a situation where he knows he has the advantage, that staircase push, the elimination side there, he basically waited for the player to come around the corner and said, now you're on my turf, I have the height advantage, and I've got a shotgun.
Oh, I thought that was how we got the 6th elim. Followed up shortly after. That was against Sean.
Pushing Mute Sean there. Now, Nick 1 away from 7 here. I
feel like he's mad at himself for this one.
For not swapping. He had the double barrel.
He had the double barrel.
With how close they were, Misfits Freak would have gone down very quickly. They were stuck on top of each other. That's the range that a double barrel is just going to crush your opponent if you hit your shot.
And there's a look at this packed house we currently have live from PAX West. That's not the last of our replays we'll see. We'll once again take a look at Tfue and how he made it possible to win that game 2. I have to give him a shout out here strictly because game 1 he could not have more of a frustrating end. 11th with 2 elims. If he beats Chap in that one-on-one, he winds up getting 2 points and basically sends himself to Monday right away. Instead of getting frustrated, getting down on himself, he moves into game 2, plays this final scenario absolutely flawlessly. He drops on down, engages the player down low, picks up the materials, turns around, and then shoots down the final player. So well done.
Now, players like Tfue, they know how to work their loadout at like an optimal rate of fire. You saw multiple times taking a pump action shotgun shot and swapping, unloading with that compact SMG, and just when the shotgun's ready, flips back, hits the shot again. That last shot in the second to last elimination, 76 damage. He just knows the timings. He knows the timing so well that he can put out as much damage as possible and secure those eliminations, even exposed like that in the open. He had no materials left. He had to engage, and he went for it.
Tfue, one of the biggest names in Fortnite. I believe we'll have an interview with him. Actually, it's ready now. Zeke has Tfue down on the floor after that impressive Game 2 victory.
Guys, awesome cast. You guys are amazing as always. I am joined here by the legend himself, Tfue. How are you feeling, my friend?
I'm pumped, man. That was like a perfect game, in my opinion, and I'm so excited because like the first game, I ended up getting taken out by Chap with 2 kills, 11th place. So it was unfortunate that I went all the way through the first game, ended up getting 0 points, but I clutched up that last game, 6 kills, got the victory royale. I'm pretty pumped. Excited to play again.
Now, what was prep like leading up to PAX?
Preparation. I was prepping like a small space to play. You know, like maybe tighten my setup a little bit, keyboard and mouse. You know, I ordered the Logitech keyboard and mouse to practice because I knew they were going to use them. But other than that, just a lot of solo snipes every day, grinding. You know, off stream. It's good. It's fun. I'm excited, man.
So what is it like, you know, you obviously played all Summer Skirmish long, and then you show up here, and like you talked about, you had that first unfortunate game, and then in game 2, you show up and slay out. What was going through your mind, and when did you know that you had that win?
I knew I had that win when I cleared out the entire like bottom level, and all I could see was just dudes way up in the sky with like maybe 1 or 2 platforms securing them from just falling all the way down. And you know, once I saw them, I was like, oh, it's free. It's free. All I can do is shoot them down, and I'm good as long as they don't got bouncers. But I was confident even if they did have bouncers, I would take them out. But you know, I'm pumped though.
Now, what do you got to say to the millions that love you and the crowd that's live here at PAX? What do you want to tell them?
I love you guys, and I miss you guys for sure.
There you go. You heard it from the legends. Thank you so much. I cannot wait to see how you slay out. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to throw it to a break, so we'll be back in just a little bit. Stay tuned.
Use your website's domain name as your business.
This is really good so far.
Don't let me catch you. Don't let me catch you slipping by. Why do I get myself? Why do I get myself caught up in these lonely nights? Oh, why?
Live, and the action has not disappointed so far. Tenpo, Chap, Nick Merckx, and Tfue all showing up big as many people expected.
It's been incredible to see every name we've expected for this evening to play extremely well, and they're not the only ones either. A number of players last game had 3+ eliminations, which at 1 point is enough to push you into Monday.
Yep.
And that means anybody that makes it in, that's $5,000 minimum. I just want more gameplay, Courage. I just want more gameplay. I've never been more excited.
We got to see a restack up before we get into game number 3. Where are we at in the standings? Let's see. That rhymed. Okay. Pretty happy with that. But Tenpo, first place spot still, but Tfue is teammate right behind him. Liquid Chap right there as well. Nick Merckx in that 7th spot too. Pretty nuts.
Now, I want you to look at place 6 right now. What do you see there, Courage? That's 0 eliminations, and he picked up another point, another top 10 finish.
The man sent himself through to Monday without getting a limb. He
hasn't eliminated a single person. He's just here to be friends. Now, everybody that is in the top 33 here at the end of game 4 makes it to Monday, and we have, oh man, we have so much left.
So much left. Remember, top 33 qualify. So far, only 31 players even have points, which is pretty nuts. So it could be an elim tiebreaker tonight. Who knows? Either way, game number 3 about to be underway. See players dancing in the lobby as they all get prepared. Everyone in the room ready to go.
You saw, actually, we saw yesterday. Do you remember the chain of players doing the worm along the line?
Impressive.
Makes you wonder the shenanigans, man. But as far as shenanigans go, I think those are going to cut because it's time, Courage, to get into the next game.
Ready.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Is
this crowd ready, folks? Make some noise.
Here we go. Players dropping out of the battle bus to south, an almost top, bottom to top trajectory for the bus. Players jumping out very early. You see already floating over the water, trying to get as low as possible. We've got people spreading across to Paradise Palms. Less than I expected in that southwest corner to the northeast of Flush Factory. Maybe only 3 or 4 dropping down there, so it's going to be a slow, methodical start for those players. But in the bottom right there, you see Tfue pushing across. He's going to drop it at the gas station in hopes to establish himself a little buffer of loot. These southeast corners, typically you come out with quite a few materials if you're unchallenged. The trees and the rocks are key, plus the metal here. He's going after every single piece that he can. Metal for these competitive players is extremely important because early established fights, they have a lot of HP, 110. The second you place him down, Nick Merckx here in Tilted Towers. We've watched him here every time. I guarantee you he's going to drop here. As I said, his opponents that go tilted, they already know they're at least going to have to face him. And if they're watching the leaderboards from previous games, they know they're in for a fight against Nick.
And there are many players in Big Gray right now. Nick knows this. He'll go ahead and upgrade his assault rifle. Beautiful pickup there. That's like that's like the best thing you could ask for right now. The rare drum gun. I don't think there's a weapon I'd want to find more than that.
I almost wanted Shield to come out of that thing and put him in just an even better spot. He is very low on materials though, which means if he's going to fight somebody, Courage, he's going to engage. He's not going to be slow about it. He has to push. I almost expect him to take a shot with the blue drum. You saw the opponent drop down on top of the platform that he plays. He's going to push over here. This middle building, the construction building, has a lot of platforms. These pallets which come out. See, a lot of wood. He's completely ignoring him. He's pushing past. He's looking for.
Wait, look at how many people landed tilted.
Oh my gosh! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in tilted. That southwest corner, like I said, pretty empty. A good spread of players across the entire map.
See, Nick runs away from that fight in Big Gray because he's just hoping for shields anywhere right now, and still has yet to find any. When you don't have shields, it almost feels like you're naked when you're playing. You don't feel comfortable in any scenario. Fights. See, like, look at this right now.
Chucking the nade. He's pushing him out to the left or up the stairs. just trying to hope for a bait on his opponent. It sounds like he might have been engaged by somebody else. The nade may be revealing a position.
Just launch padded. Player just launch padded on out. And Nick's more than happy just chilling here. Again, since he doesn't have shields, he's not really in the mood to fight in any aggressive manner.
C9 blind, getting shot, I believe, from 2 different locations. As he was readying himself to drop in. Trump drops the stink bomb basically away. He's zoning out his opponent in an attempt to back out of the engagement. He already got hit from 2 different locations. I mean, a ton of players know exactly where he is. Now is not the time for him to engage. He doesn't even have healing. He's got the campfire, but he's got to build to put that down, which means it's not something he just use on the fly and hide behind. It's going to show up to opponents that see the structure being built. They'll look for the color of the wood platforms, and they'll find them.
Here's Astonish.
Hit the shot. There it is. Joshua going down a Lazy Lynx, and Astonish got to feel good about that one. Set to destroy a team that has been around for quite a while. A number of players here. JP2 from LG yet again. We had our eyes on him last match. He's, as we've seen, knocking out a ton of the furniture, trying to get every single bit of material that he can for building. Just defensive building is one of the biggest things. Knowing just when to put any layer between you and your opponent can stop a single shot, and that can mean the difference between making it out alive or even getting an elimination and getting eliminated yourself. Caillou in the last round took out Chap, one of the players we've been keeping our eyes on, and Aiden's trying to get the spotlight on him himself. Definitely deserved, because he's been putting on a good show every game so far.
Farming up some materials, 547 wood already. Back over to Nick Merckx, who's found a slurp juice, it appears.
The 75 shield.
He's at 570 plus
a lot
wood
of wood. That building courage. All those pallets, man. Yep. Yeah, you have so much material you're literally standing on top of. And that much wood, that's enough to push anybody aggressively, which is exactly what Nick might try and do here. Using the building already, that's established, but he's going to get up on top of his opponent. His opponent goes for the edit and misses it and pays the price. Nick Merckx getting himself his first elimination on Erico, who he only got the corner of that platform edited out. Was trying to drop in and escape, and it couldn't land it.
This was over in Risky Reels. Was that a hand cannon hit?
I believe it was. Are you kidding me?
Double hand cannon connects right there to get that elim. Talk about making some plays with style. Here's Kyle, can't get that engagement to go in his favor. That's Emad with a second elim already this game over at Snobby Shores.
Looking pretty good on his healing, single mini, and those slurps are the value of those so good. But whoa, Sloss.
He shakes his head like, okay, I'll give you that one. Beautiful play with the impulse, and I love that. A lot of times you see players just leave impulses behind. When you don't have many things in your inventory, sure, pick it up. But the last thing he's expected is an impulse grade to fly on in. Third party now involved.
Yeah, he was going for the push, but shots coming out from the side. Another controller player that we've watched a number of days now. He's trying to track both opponents. Fear of a pinch right here, Courage. What would you do in a situation like this? You know players on both sides.
He's got a rift to go, so it's not like he's in super panic mode. Right now, just trying to see exactly if he gets some free damage onto Rio. Rio has 200 health, now down to, 169. Grab that drum, that nade.
The defensive build. He saw the nade come in, the ramps, kind of to build a layer underneath him that he can elevate himself with and protect from the explosive damage. Now C4 says, I can do that too, gets the shot and drops in. Rio's trying to push for the elimination on Destler. Gets the shots and the drum gun. That blue drum is so powerful up close.
That's Rio's first elim, and look at Sloths. Moving, well, like a sloth. Doesn't just kind of yeet on in there, just waits, waiting, looking, seeing what he can do. And there's the rift to go, getting on out. There he goes. Is Sloth going to use that himself? We'll have to see. He does. He does, as we hear him go ahead and takes that to safety. Look at the impulse.
Spreading his wings, getting the elimination on Emil Marsha is
it's an impulse win right
like
there.
You said, you don't see a lot of players use the impulse nades, and I believe that's when Destler pushed in, maybe heard the impulse go off and say, okay, this guy is using something we don't typically see in competitive games. Blind pushing in, trying to get underneath his opponent, and does a great pistol. Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
Just as lethal as everything else in this man's hand. Blind, showing exactly why people should have his eyes on him.
And right there. When you don't have things to replace the weapon with, that's why you pick up everything you run over, right? Because there he swaps to a gray pistol to get an elim in one of the most stacked lobbies you can have. Every little bit helps, and right there, Blind shows it off perfectly.
The entire play out of Emad's elimination on Kyle there. Now, Nick Merckx still in Tilted Towers. I'm not surprised, but there's a reason he's staying here. He basically has the layout memorized. Static and Lavish both moving around still in there. And there is a third party on the hill up top to the south, just kind of waiting and watching. They're still in the safe zone, and Nick doesn't even have to leave yet. He can stay here for yet another circle.
I'm going to tell you something. Nick has no intentions of ever leaving Tilted.
Absolutely not. Imagine if he gets kinged here. If Tilted is still in the zone, he's not going to leave that building. It sadly is not. He's going to have to move southeast in a second. Now, Tempo, we've watched those clingers drop the structure out from underneath his opponent. Looks like he did build a step away, and the triangle blocks Tempo from the push up top. A good defensive build from Emad. Even though he lost the high ground, Emad still saved himself a little bit. Now Tempo editing himself back down. He's trying to follow his opponent. Emad is trying to build up, and Tempo almost thought he was going to take some fall damage there. Catches himself inside the tree on the way down, and Emad falling down. Both of these players looks like a third party is engaging. Emad's trying to track Tempo, who flies away. Says, I don't want to do this. I know somebody else is shooting. It's time to get out of here. The bounce pad coming in pretty clutch. And there's that third party that Tempo was tracking. Emad might have to deal with the situation now because when the structure came down, the bounce pad disappeared. And there's no get out of jail free card anymore. Emad might have to engage this, especially because there's just over 60 seconds before the zone is going to move. He does have 2 eliminations, which means if he gets Tempo right here, that is a point. Aggressive push, 140 from the shotgun and gets Tempo. Emad, 3 eliminations, gets himself a point.
You can't ask for much more from attack shotgun right there. And the chug jug, the GG emote.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, just deciding to add some flair to that one, Barnologist.
Oh, the body shot.
Hello.
Muffins goes down quick.
110 damage with that purple bolt, showing just how good it is to carry those power weapons.
Have you been watching any of the other skirmishes?
Goes down to Chris, and right now, only 3 players, Emad, Tylers, and Dester, have 3 eliminations or more. They're all at 3 right now. That's 1 point apiece. Everybody else is at 2 or less. And Dester, actually, one of those players, is already eliminated. 1 point, though, you should still feel really good about that because that could get him into Monday.
There's basically only one way Jair loses this fight, and it's if this hunting rifle can hit a ridiculous shot. His opponent here is, his opponent is so weak. So basically Jair is in a brilliant spot to win this. Just can't let his opponent hit that hunting rifle shot.
Just barely canning up the bounce pad, the push away. The bounce actually pushes him out. Might go for the shot here on the fly. His opponent might potentially want to push up.
2 AR bullets. That's why he can't spray with the assault rifle.
Just waiting. He has enough HP here. He can wait. You can see his opponent actually fell all the way down. No fall damage from that. He caught himself with the build. He's going to push down, try and get this elimination before the storm takes out.
This is for a point.
You got to push to get this.
Oh, no way! Oh, no way! A terrible choke in Wheels, then dies to the storm.
That was his 3rd elimination. That's a point for Wheels.
Both of them going for a 3rd elim. Terrible, terrible end there. Here's how Nick Merckx goes down a beam from Ecstatic. My goodness. That's a 1 point difference there. That could be the difference between playing in this grand final tomorrow and not qualifying.
Multiple bounce pads here. Ecstatic looking to get back in as fast again. He still has to move. The zone here at this point, relatively slow. He's on the inside of it now, so he shouldn't be too worried. But if somebody catches him while he's rotating, he doesn't know based on what you see in the top left. But he's safe here. He doesn't have to reinforce these builds, so potentially losing materials, but that's a safety play. He wanted to get up top. He didn't want his structure to get knocked down while he was trying to build up. And now he does have to move, but he might be looking for another elimination. He's looking
for this 3rd elim. That's how he's playing this right now.
He's going for the point. Intelligent play here, to be quite honest with you. And he knowing that there's no shield on that opponent, you're going to see an aggressive push here. He does have a drum gun. You're going to see that thing come out in a second. The blue tack is going to be utilized up close. Here we go.
It all. Going for it all. Can he get the elim? Yes, he does.
Kev goes down. That's a point for Ecstatic. We actually could hear some people cheering here at PAX West. If you're here at PAX and you're not watching, I don't know what you're doing. Ecstatic defending himself. He's sitting on top. He's still in that same cube where the campfire is built, which means he's still getting healed from it, and he has a ton of metal around him. He's safe for the most part. Ranger from WBG just inside the zone. You're going to see an aggressive 3rd party here, even though Ranger only has a gray AR at that point.
He's going to gatekeep that. He's going to wait there and make sure it is not an easy run for him to push on in towards that zone. Ecstatic still has his hands full there. Over towards Salty Springs. Grandma's house, as many people call it. Octagon. Saka just staying alive for the moment. Here's Kayun again, low HP. Doesn't matter for him as he just gets that headshot again. The heavy shotgun showing its strength there.
Crispy, Dime, Saka. You have Dime, Saka, and Freak all stacked up on top of each other at this little hunting lodge. This is actually a relatively common drop to push into Salty immediately afterwards, but Blind versus this looks like a Raven Skinny gets the engagement. Blind hitting the shots and the crit. 52 damage. There's a reason, Courage, the drum gun is used so often.
Yes.
This thing hits for over 50 up close, which means 4 headshots is an elim on a full HP, full shield player. That's so fast and it spits bullets so quickly that if you're accurate,
I would really want to see Tfue, honestly.
Still alive right now with 4
I mean,
eliminations.
I think it would be
Nobody
cool
has 5 yet.
if Nick, because he's on controller,
points,
but
which means there's a number of players. Actually, there's only 2 at 3 or higher.
about like maybe
Kane
Chap or
Towers.
something.
Everybody else you saw there on the board.
Tfue's my number 1 though.
And that's a big oops, lining the guided up.
Looks like that guy.
That's a yikes. You just hit it yourself with your own guided missile.
Around himself and then possibly pop some minis here to get back to 150.
You hate to see that.
He's like, okay.
You see it not in his head. Yeah,
maybe I should drop the guided missile.
Not necessarily. It's actually really uncommonly used in competitive games. I think being able to shoot the rocket out of the air, it only hits for what, 75 damage, even with a direct hit. It's best at knocking structures down, but at this point, with a circle,
he killed himself.
not a good call.
Or well, hit himself with his own guided.
Static
is at 4.
Who was right outside. We saw Ranger was going to gatekeep, not make it easy for him to get inside, and that's, well, exactly what he does.
The ported fort possible from Crispy if he gets in a tough spot. You don't see a lot of players carrying that around in competitive plays, Courage, but he's getting third party. I wouldn't be surprised if he popped it right now just to build layers between himself and Crunch, who's at the top of that kind of interestingly built structure.
30 players
it came down to 1 point at the bottom. Jack's teammate Ashton, who we've watched a number of times in Salty, he's at 2 eliminations. 1 more would get him a point, and he does have Sock on the outside here, but anyway, you know he's got to hear him. You can see right
big facts. It just,
the outline pointing towards the direction that he could hear his opponent moving. He's just kind of looking through the wood right now.
Yeah, I saw the gateway.
Third person look around the corner.
The gateway LTM, yeah.
Yeah,
it looks really, it looks pretty cool. The new weapon looks sick.
Essentially, like an Overwatch on everybody.
Crunch is in a beautiful position right now because this is right on the edge of the zone.
The new weapon looks really cool.
No shields left.
You can definitely make some plays with that.
Would be enough to get him a point. Hasn't happened yet. Tyler's at 5 now this game. That's 2 points.
Do you play on PC or PS4?
Maybe some more coming on through as he's using his grenade launcher, and Sloth is just trying to build, but so much structural damage.
Or Xbox.
That's what I talk about. You never know if a sniper's watching you. Lucky for him, does dodge that shot as he'll go ahead and edit down. Maybe pick up these grenades. Yep. He actually ran it explode, so he'll grab 6 frags to maybe heave those down.
Minute 24, 23, 30 players remaining. You see this in the top right, kind of that wide angle shot. Tyler's taking some tap fires, but he's not necessarily alone in the area. A lot of players on the north, east, the northeast side of the map and the center, but actually the southwest corner only has 1 little boat here. We've seen Energy General put on some excellent plays in the past, but gets caught off guard. Little boat drops just down in 74 damage from the attack, and that's all she wrote. Now, as I was saying, the southwest.
Yeah, I know.
Map right now,
the amount of clips that are going to be hit with that is going to be crazy.
Edges of the hill where
it's like,
the top.
It's going to be like so perfect.
Tyler's just hanging out.
Oh, you found. I was like, there's no way you're a mobile player.
For now, but any bit of damage you can do to chip away from your opponents always helps. So bounce pad on over. It's time to make a move. It appears. As he'll drop on down. No rift spawned over there.
Grizz and Kayun both sitting on 3 eliminations right now, which means a point for each of them, regardless of placement. There's still 16
I really hope
before people start getting
Tfue comes out with the dub today, with the going to
Grizz, who I literally just talked about how he got a point. Now he's eliminated from the game. Still a good game, still coming away with just 1 point. Look at this. Gets the shot on Ranger. We saw gatekeeping earlier, but then dives the trap.
It's the most happy I've ever seen someone after getting trapped, and it's because that was his 3rd elim right there to earn him the point. So He'll take it. Crunch. Oh, this
Oh,
is chunking it right
this
now.
guy's
He's
dead
done
this
for.
time.
He knows it. There he goes. Those late game storms. It's hitting for 5 right now. Next will hit for 7, and then 10.
You like the revolver?
Stick them there. Hysteria.
Hysteria versus Lobo building on top of each other. A third party getting taps. That again, the top of the hill. Those towers. They see
Little
you.
boat
They're taking
too.
shots.
Revolvers are getting
Jump
involved
guys actually
before
built in
the
inside
drop
with
off
them. You see
thing.
them running around underneath.
It was
There's
my
three
favorite.
parties here and
Yeah,
they might not
revolvers
even
were pretty
realize
good. You were able to double
Hey,
revolver
excuse me,
without.
Crispy coming in saying, I'm here too, don't forget.
If Hysteria plays his part well, he could easily get his 3rd elim, maybe a 4th and 5th. He's got by far the most HP. He's got the tools to do this. This is Hysteria's moment to possibly qualify. 3rd night in a row of competing in this late night qualifier in hopes to make
I just feel like the shotguns are so inconsistent now. Like, you know, like the revolvers hit, like white revolver hit like 50 damage or whatever per hit, but like a pump is like either 8 damage or 150. I feel like one pump or either one pump or no damage.
There's so many players stacked around Hysteria right now, and
Minis being popped.
Yeah, 108.
Thinking, okay, maybe this guy's a little bit weak. Maybe I can make a move happen. I've got near 200 HP. Hysteria peeking. Shotgun doesn't hit quite yet. Challenging the corner. He's caught in the tree. It's a heavy shot from both. Remember, Hysteria has no healing. I'm surprised he's not following this up. He's waiting. I thought he was going to go for that.
Yeah, double 108 with the revolvers when you could double revolver. That was nice. And then now half the time it just does 30 damage because of the fall off.
Competition on Monday. Now the 3rd party begins to spray on in. Hysteria building. Hysteria trying to stall. Nothing as of yet. He's got to edit this wall. Close this window. There you go. How intense is this right now, Lupo? This is the difference between potentially playing for 1.5 million and not.
Yeah. Now we're talking about Chap a second ago. I saw it in the feed, but let's take a look at how it actually played out. Tyler's the window peek catches Chap off guard. He's trying to build up to get to the zone and couldn't get a wall to block the shots from Tyler's inside his little box there.
Rip Chap.
A great timing play there.
Where's
now,
Tifu
I
at?
say, I think
Did Tifu die?
Push. You were commenting on it earlier. If Hysteria knew there were two
it looks like Tifu must have died at the start of the game.
To happen and one of them take each other out and just wait to the last second. He knew there were still people alive. He didn't hear the shots at the time, but you never know. Hysteria might also have been just like a fear lockup. Now this is the first zone move. Tyler's actually has 7 eliminations. So many high
just got sniped by a heavy sniper. You saw that? I believe it was.
Yeah, I don't think Tifu
hit the shot. Here's Tyler's down with 7 limbs.
3 points for him, basically guaranteeing a spot on Monday unless everybody else goes absolutely wild for the rest of the games. Fast edge catches Sloth pushing up next to him from outside of the storm. Sloth might not even have known Tyler's was inside. That's 8 eliminations. We've only seen one other player, Courage, hit double digits. That was Animal yesterday.
Is this the heavy
shot from Bay Soldier?
Oh, this was the shot.
Blind, you can't sit up top.
Yeah, that was a Bay Soldier with that.
Yeah, because of the fall damage to the head too.
That does 157 damage to the body.
It's not. I don't like that.
60 plus damage for the headshot. So basically, yeah, you're not living.
Oh really? I didn't even see.
Hysteria still at 2.
Tifu
At this point, do you think he
again.
waits in hopes to just place top 10?
Yeah, that was a nice
two
snipe.
limbs away, 3 limbs away.
I would. You hear there's another that guided rocket. That must be OT Divine who had it previously. If he's still alive, drops Tyler's down. Now, compared to the rest of the players that are alive right now, Courage, Tyler's has 8, and the next closest is Asterio, Rio, and Godvat, who have 2 eliminations apiece. He has more than those 3 added together, and that's the next closest for elimination count that are still alive in this game.
See how he just builds out these huts, spams all those walls. OT Divine moving forward. 12 players left. The next 2 who drop will miss out on points.
Placing the wall so he has control. The edit. Tyler's getting his 9th elimination.
This guy's going off
Maybe
this
he
game.
overheard us earlier saying eliminations do count for tiebreakers.
JP2 drops next, which means we're at our top 10. Every player remaining just earned themselves 1 point.
That's gotta feel good for like Hysteria.
Can he get a second here with another elim?
Oh, that's a feels bad.
You know, 1 more wall he can build. I feel like he's just got to go for this.
The circle.
I hope Hysteria wins this
more
one.
Materials. If he can get that elimination, not only is it a point, Horfy is probably the player a yard above him, but he'll get the materials that are left. Horfy actually just got lasered, almost eliminated there. You hear him popping minis.
Hysteria cannot build a single structure again. Tyler's still staying alive.
Didn't take a single point of damage.
Hysteria got the limb under Rex.
That's
three
limbs.
now for
That's
Hysteria.
2 points in this game for Hysteria.
So Tyler's already has 9 limbs, which means he
Oh,
gets
Hysteria died.
Then +1 for the top 10. Horrified trades the limb onto Divine. Tyler's still moving.
This guy's got 9 kills.
The clean sweep of a game for the first time, a full 6-point performance. If he can win this one. So much around him, he doesn't even care.
9 elimination. Oh, there's 10.
Oh my goodness. Is this the 10th limb? Can he match Animal? Yes, he does.
Base shoulder. 4. Almost ticked out. One more tick to the Storm.
He's got 3 campfires.
If this turns into a play for the against the Stormy, a med kit?
Jeez. Folks, Tyler's may clean sweep this game.
What do you mean?
He's going to be near the top amount of HP left in this lobby.
He's going to get 10 limbs and he's going to get the win.
He knows he's on camera right now. He knows we're showing love.
Cheeky smile. Now, 3 campfires courage in competitive plays, gameplay, especially where it comes down to almost a heal off at the end, is crazy powerful. You'll see players put down floors right next to each other, place all the campfires simultaneously, and sit at the junction between the platforms because then they're taking up multiple squares. They're getting the heal from all of them. He just earned
another point.
That's 5.
Tyler's now has 5 this game alone, folks. He's so close.
No way.
Down to the top 2.
The speed that he had to get through 1v1 situation.
He just took high ground.
Points for Tyler's if he gets the shot off.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is so insanely challenging to do. He's got the high ground now. He's popping minis.
My high ground now.
He could absolutely go for a heal off. And look at how low on HP his opponent is, under 70 health.
Or if Tyler's decides to go for this, go for the 11. It'd be the highest elimination count in any game we've had in the qualifiers. His opponent decides to shoot up from underneath. You see, he's doing it.
Okay,
he's building up the layers.
Ladies and gentlemen, this could be it right here. He's building himself high enough to be able to drop down a bunch of campfires to out-heal this zone.
His opponent knows. He knows that he can't out-heal this, and the expectation might be that he knows
building
that
more layers. He's trying to catch up to him. Tyler's keeps on going. When is it campfire time? When will he place them all down? He just keeps building up, keeps building more layers. His opponent can't catch him. I think it's time. It's time to place him down. 1, 2,
he's sitting right there.
And look at this. He's going to heal.
Wow.
Tyler's for the first time this week. The 6-point
Nope.
game. There it is.
Huh. The wildcard skin looks sick, yeah.
Hands down, the best performance we've seen in a game thus far throughout every heat, throughout every qualifier, and that smile sums it up perfectly. The 6-point performance.
Wow, that's crazy.
Insane stuff.
Jack, I gotta say, day 3 has proven itself to be the craziest thus far.
Absolutely.
And we're not even done yet.
We're not. We have one more game tonight. That was like Tyler saw Tifu's crazy end. It was like, you know what? I'm going to one-up you right here.
1 second.
I'm going to one-up you right here, my friend. Brilliantly played, getting those levels, making sure it's not easy to shoot him down. Drops all those campfires. 3 campfires?
We haven't seen anybody else with that many campfires thus far, and you can see why that many campfires pays off.
Yep.
Players in competitive matches know that sometimes it's going to come down to a heal off. He was building layers between himself and the opponent underneath, knowing full well that as soon as that person underneath him is shooting, that's a signal to him.
Yep.
That guy cannot out heal the Storm, and he's afraid that I can. So I'm going to build up. I'm going to put a buffer between myself and him. I'm going to put these campfires down. I'm going to outplay the Storm.
GG. We've got replays to look at, as always. First comes from Bartonologist, a very talented solo showdown player from online. This was early on at the racetrack just outside Paradise. You see a little peaks with this pump. There it is. To clean up knives. Later on, they ripped it. Tried to maneuver. And this was that beautiful, epic.
The other game put him in like 3 without the other points. I hope Tifu. Oh yeah.
3 of the qualifiers. Can we please make some noise?
I think Tifu is probably 3rd or 4th.
You love to see it, people. Going around using the restroom, getting ready for game number 4, Divine. We saw a little bit in that game, rocking the guided missile. 1 didn't go his way, but the rest of the game went pretty darn well, if you ask me.
Something to feel good about. We even heard a number of a couple guided shots later, but JP do getting caught off guard. The SMG spray through the walls as JP was, it looked like he was looking on the outside. Good timing from Divine, trying to secure his 2nd elimination here as the player almost sneaks up on him. It's Hysteria.
1 tap.
Landed 2 points that game, but Horrified drops in behind him, takes him out 2 eliminations. But still, a top 10 finish. That means a point for Divine. And this is not the first qualifiers we've seen him in. the better. I bet it feels good to finally to get a point.
Hopefully he's
put
in
him
third.
Monday already.
Oh, for sure.
As long as it's not.
The limb difference could potentially be the tiebreaker there.
As long as
One,
he's
the
in
limb
top
could
10.
be it, like we saw yesterday. But listen, I'm sure you can all guess who the final set of replays are going to come from. Our first place victory royale from that game, the full 6-point sweep. Tyler's 10 limbs and the victory. Legitimately one of the best performances I have seen in all my time playing Fortnite.
And you got us watching the speed of the edits and the knowledge of when
Yeah,
to catch his opponents
Rip
off
Myth,
guard
honestly,
shows
and
what
Vivid.
these edits have, just how
There were
fast
two
it's
players
just the
that
right time to push
had
in,
the potential to win the whole thing and
almost every
just
single
played
elimination
not,
felt
just
like he
didn't
knew
play to
exactly
their
how to
potential.
control his opponent and where they were going to go, predicting the movements and knowing just when to push. Look at
Another
that.
one there. Sloth comes on in, sends him packing. So he's winning at 8, make it 9 limbs now, taking down Rio. And again, this was the final one here. Tyler's a man that I think is beginning to make
Oh,
a name
dude, I
for
thought he was
himself
dead to the
in this
storm right there.
competitive scene.
Honestly.
This was the final moment. Campfire,
Lucky
campfire,
guy.
campfire. You sit right in the middle, and you get the benefits of healing from all 3. You see just how long it's taking. Like, look at that. This should take 10 seconds to eliminate you. That would have taken so long. He was almost out healing it seemed like, but there you go. Tyler's nose. Crosses his fingers. Gets the win. GG's all around.
Yeah, they
and the
both
best part is,
choked.
since we're live here at PAX West, can immediately catch up with him for a brief interview. I believe Zeke has him over at the venue.
Gentlemen, great cast. I mean, you just watched that victory out. I'm joined here by Tyler's, the man himself, Tyler's. I mean, to take a victory out in the way you just did, first off, 10 eliminations, and then to win with a double campfire. What was going through your mind, man?
Dude, going through my mind, I was just like, I just need to get up on the high ground. I just need to use these campfires. You know, I don't need another kill. I don't need the 11th. I just wanted to make sure I got the W.
That is amazing. Now, what's interesting, man, is you did all this, you slayed out without the double barrel shotgun. What was the decision there?
I don't like it. I've never liked it since it's come into the game. I just miss too much, I think. I just prefer anything other than that, even a tack. I would take a gray tack over a double barrel.
A gray tack over a double barrel, that hurts my heart, man. So let's talk about this. What is your strategy going into the next game?
I'm just going to kill everybody. I'm just going to slay out, get as many kills as I can, and win. Just be the best.
Let's check out some stats from this last game that you had. Dude, seriously, unbelievable play here. I mean, check this out. You got 10 eliminations. I can't speak. 341 bills and 5,000 mats gathered. What does it feel like here? I mean, let's talk, right? You got 10 eliminations and the victory out. That's 6 points, and I don't think anyone else has yet to drop any eliminations.
Yeah,
like
he's
you
planning
have
to
like
kill
that.
the whole lobby.
I mean, what's the next step?
Next step? I think it's 11, right? 11 kills.
I hate you so much. Congrats, Tyler's. Best of luck in the next few games. Back to you guys on the desk.
Seems pretty cocky.
Zeke, that's the one thing you have, the microphone. Stop giving it up. Jesus, man. That's like an 11th limb. He just eliminated Zeke from interviewing people.
Been eliminated.
There he goes.
It's
Yeah.
incredible how confident players like Tyler. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, double barrels are really, really,
the confidence in his
really
face. And
crazy.
that makes 2 players thus far that have hit double
Close
digital
range.
eliminations.
Yes.
Himself and Animal from Sentinel, which is crazy. You have to realize too, Jack, that 10 eliminations is like a public match win sometimes, man. And they're playing against extremely good players, professional players that are editing and building faster than a lot of what you'll see anywhere else than here at Summer Skirmish.
Yep. And throughout the day, we've actually had the chance to catch up with some of our participants. Let's check it out.
Well, as a streamer, as a full-time career, I want to try and push that career forward. And I have every cosmetic in Fortnite, every pickaxe, every glider, everything that they've ever released, I ended up collecting.
the best, and obviously the prize pool is just icing on the cake.
I feel like I could just lay back, watch everyone kill each other, and then snipe them from the back.
It's all about the good vibes here at PAX West at the Fortnite booth. Summer Skirmish, day 3 of the qualifiers. We have one more game left, and we will know every
Those seats are really nice.
player participating tomorrow for the $1.5 million on the final day of competition for the last 8 weeks of the Summer Skirmish.
Jack, I'm setting alarms, man. Anybody you know, tell them 11 o'clock a.m. tomorrow Pacific. That's the time. Be here, especially if you're here at PAX West. Do not miss the event tomorrow because we have a crazy amount of gameplay coming from all these players are putting on such a show. And one of the things I noticed in there, it's not just a small collection of players. We have people from all over the world here to play across the ocean and back. It's incredible. Now, Jack,
this is it. It's all come down to this. 8 weeks of competition. Millions and millions of dollars of prizes up to this point. Players traveling from across the world. One final game to find out who our 100 players are for tomorrow's $1.5 million final.
Game 4 coming in, a northwest to southeast bus approach. And already at the top, you have people dropping over the water. You're going to have, looks like Junk Junction might be a little busier than usual. I would expect players to stretch Wailing Woods, Risky Reels, Flush and Greasy probably pretty often in a situation like this, especially competitive players. They know that targeting the outside zone is important. But Tyler's, if he's looking to put a record elimination count up this game, going for 11 or more, he's got to jump into the heat, and I think that's exactly the plan. Going to Salty smack dab almost in the center of the map, looking to see if he can pick up a couple early eliminations. Going to hit the treehouse, it looks like. 3 chests possible. No, he flies past, going to the house at the end of the street there.
This is actually my exact skin loadout.
It looks like he bypassed a weapon, gets the pump action shotgun and an LMG instead, which is an excellent loadout up close against
yeah.
above him.
Tempo could drop 13. That'd be crazy.
Up there, you better look out.
Oh, he's great. He's got minis. He's going to fight this right away. He's going to fight this right away. Tyler's not only took the microphone twice from Zeke, but also promised 11 elims this game. So we'll see if he's a man of his word. Frankie has moved towards that middle treehouse, and I believe the
if you
player
call
who
it,
on Tyler is actually built
that's
up
crazy.
and out towards a sniper tower, trying to avoid that engagement.
Ashton getting engagement over here at the hotel. Got to hit those shots. One left, and he couldn't secure it. Rogue's Double O Flower gets his first elimination. Only 14 HP left.
Do you stream on your YouTube channel?
It looks like he might have. Right. And actually, earlier already this evening, Flower had secured 4 elims in a single game, which it means he's got 1 point.
All right, I gotta watch
minimum for the night.
Watch the chat.
Can put him into Monday, even if he doesn't get another point, Jack.
I gotta watch the thing for Tifu.
6 eliminations.
Make sure Tifu doesn't die.
Tempo and Tilted, which is surprising. Tempo knows that.
I bet Tifu's gonna win.
The shotgun shot from looks like down the stairs. It's Crypto from above, actually pushing in now. Maybe here's the shield. The mini popping, and Tempo's going to try and layer up against these early game materials. Super important, even though he doesn't have a lot of them. He's got to position them. Like Crypto for the shot there. Tempo, this is like mid-fight harvesting materials, knowing that every piece that he has counts. Yep. Every layer is stopping a shot from that shotgun.
Oh, you don't post.
Static over towards double L's.
I was gonna say.
Eliminating Ectic.
Another controller player. It's great to see both controller and keyboard and mouse players staying competitive against each other. Putting on a good show here in Tilted Towers.
Yo, I'll win this skirmish as a mobile.
And he's not the only one here. It's not a 1v1 anymore. Nope. Lavish and Crypto are here against Tempo. I would expect as soon as an elimination happens on one of these players, the third party is going to push, hearing potentially a shield break, something like that. You're going to see quick, aggressive gameplay from all 3 players here as soon as something starts.
So you see Tempo's like looking towards his back, even though there's players near him. He's looking to see if maybe someone from Big Gray is going to begin to shoot down on him or something along those lines. He's got to be wary of that. Nice little loadout here for DT. We'll be able to loot as well this campfire. Hunting rifle. Another gold compact SMG, the legendary compact SMG right there.
Shoots in the feed, going out with a bang. Looks like a self-elimination. Hysteria takes out Steph Ryu, who we've watched a number of times over the course of the last few days. But here we go, Tempo. Layering up.
Here we go, Tempo.
Number of surfaces in the stairwell. Players will take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Everybody, there's a party going on here, and everybody wants a piece of these elims. These early ones count big time, especially if it's could potentially be a player's first point.
Well, there goes half of double L's.
Editing his way in. Tempo sees. I almost expected a shotgun shot trying to snipe an elimination there. Marsh in the feed taking a little boat out. Stick the Jenner getting elimination on Bumboy while these players are still untilted. The C4 almost. There it is. Tempo at 5 HP, and the shot from Ryan Rex gets Tempo eliminated.
I think Tempo's still got to be proud of his performance tonight, though, especially from earlier on. Sheesh, that's an awkward spot for Godvat as King BO2 just beams him there with that little health. But then, unfortunately for King BO2, you see, I think that was blind pushing on it, right?
Back here, Senrio back in Pleasant Park. Going for the revolver shot. Misses it, but doesn't even matter. Gets elimination on GS Logan. This is first for the game. Joker Untamed, who we saw earlier during the little player preview there, gets a lucky horseshoe here. Southwest, this is that pair of double buildings southwest of retail. That's 2 elims for him. 1 elimination gives him a point. 1 more there. Posey says, I heard the fight. I'm on my way in, and this is a perfect example of third partying. The sound cues, people will hear it, and actually maybe not. He was still smacking materials on the way in. Joker Untamed might have caught him off guard.
He's going for this, and he has no idea just how much health Posey has. Posey's.
Oh, the third party, the snipe, 162 meter. Wow.
I'm assuming that is our furthest elimination of this game so far. And there's a look at it there. Just how far away that snipe was. Yes, it was the furthest elimination at 163 meters. My goodness, folks.
Now the storm's starting to shrink. Currently, it's an interesting stat. It is 1,600 meters wide right now. And here, Crypto getting lavish. These players have been fighting it out here for quite a while. And Ecstatic still alive as well. 1v1 here. You got to look out for a peek around the corner. People will third person and use the camera angle to watch for pushes, watch for a time to pop out. I think he placed the campfire inside. He's going to move inside and kind of wall it off so that he can take advantage of it. Crypto's above it. He's got to hear it.
Yeah.
I mean, Crypto knows exactly where Ecstatic is, and potentially choosing when the push is going to be much easier now. The angle at which he can come from, because he knows
Crypto might be right here. Oh.
Almost expected it to peek that shot and catch Ecstatic off guard. Crypto's actually, he's looping around the outside. You know they're listening to each other the entire time. Though the trap going down to protect. Crypto actually in the feed there gets Ecstatic with the pistol, the fight we were just watching. But over here, the west side, the factory is by Lonely Lodge.
Nikiski building on up, dropping down, has a ton of materials, but not much ammo to use. So this is one of those fights where the currency you're looking for is extra ammo for your next engagements. Continuing to break on it, gets control of the pyramid, but I don't think anyone's even in that 1-by-1 anymore. Yeah, that guy's been long gone. He moved to the build just behind him, and he's actually just going to give this one up. Will Sloth shoot him in the back now?
I almost expect it. Potentially hearing the moved out. Yeah,
he just leaves him.
Sloth gets a couple taps. The Gray SMG from distance doesn't really have anything. I mean, tab firing maybe with the AR is a better option here because the SMG is not nearly as accurate. First shot accuracy with an AR at that range is going to be superior, but he was just looking to spray a bit to see if he could get any damage on him. Maybe even a method of shield checking, see if his opponent is weak enough that under 100, there it is. Turns around as Nikiski dropping down, but the third party coming in. The shots from the hill on Tilted, which is exactly what Nikiski was looking at pushing towards. Nikiski, Divine's teammate, eliminated there, and Sloss has 2 elims.
This was King against Blind. Blind just drops on in, and 2 quick crits from that tack shotgun will send him home. Here's Tyler's from last game, promised 11 elims in that interview. Still at 0, but still, it doesn't matter for him. He had the perfect performance in game 3.
53 players left. The circle's about to close. We're going to see where people are going to have to move next, and it's basically centered in the previous storm. So everybody's about the same distance.
Yeah. Is Tifa still alive?
Nobody has too much pressure, but there is under 2 minutes. You got to start making moves before too long. So you want to get into these circles early. Competitive players, they're going to try and gatekeep, and if you're outside of the circle,
yikes.
Baited. Tyler's goes down. 0 eliminations.
Heavy shotgun, man.
He
heavy
peeked out the window.
The highest damage output of any shotgun. That heavy when it hits a crit headshot, and it shows it right there. That was Tyler was running in with 142 HP. Kev is popping the Chug Jug, hands off the keyboard, just hoping it even has time to use it.
It's on the far west side too. You see the map there in a top-down view of the area that Kev's getting that the Chug Jug off on. Two players already engaging each other. It looks like someone is trying to hunt Kev down. The audio cue from that Chug Jug could be very revealing. Players like General, you see that he's pyramiding on top of his own ramp to block a pyramid attempt from his opponent. Maybe even a trap player. Gets the shotgun shut off. Looks like 80 shield damage, which means he knows his opponent still has some shield left. You didn't hear the audio cue. It's Yo-Yo, keep it up. A player we've seen in previous summer skirmishes. Puts on a good show, but cannot clutch. Gets dropped down. General drops the platform out from underneath him. Yo-Yo falls in and gets shotgunned.
He's trying to move quick to drop down. There you go. This was that fight we missed earlier on when Crypto picked up the legendary double barrel shotgun. 1, 2. Nice little swap to the
hopefully
pistol.
He is.
Rare pistol is quite good when the
even if tempo is not going to win.
Here's Kyle,
I want
a
FaZe player to win.
For whatever he can get.
Not that I like FaZe more than like TSM or anything, but I just really like Tifu.
Two spray weapons. You see all the builds coming on in, denying any bit of high ground he can. Now he'll try to match the build himself. Follows it on up. Joshua just below. Definitely a health advantage here for Kyle. Seems like he's having trouble spotting exactly where he is.
That's a yikes. Oh.
Oh, you hate to see that if you're Kyle. There he goes. Joshua with the elim, his first of the game.
Now you see the board here. 6 players currently with 3+ eliminations. I actually just went up 7. DT, Sakaros, and Marshall are the only ones still alive, though. So you've got 4 players that have earned themselves a single point, plus those elims, which can mean all the difference for tiebreakers. We still have 3 alive that can keep pushing the elimination count, go for more points. Only 2 more eliminations separate them from 2 points, and that we've seen the last 2 days has been enough to push them into Monday's grand finals.
Diabolic. Falling down this hill. Look at the zone at his back. Time is against him as he's going to have to move on in. Knows there's one player in this broken house. Speedy peaks. Nearly gets a haircut there from the player. He's going to keep on moving. Keep placing these walls.
Damage yet either. 100 still. In the feet, Blind goes down to Rex. And Blind this game did not have enough elims to get a point. Not high enough rank to get a point, so no points from this game for Blind. As previously we were watching Joshua versus one on the backside of the wall here. We were hoping, I guarantee you, Kyle was beating himself up. There's a level of inaccuracy there. The spray from the SMG just didn't connect enough.
His tracking was not very good in that fight, and that's what cost him the grenades. Sakairos trying to outbuild it, trying to stay alive. Not many mats left to his name. 3 limbs so far, so 1 point earned, but now he's getting shot from multiple areas, down to 5 HP. I think the end is near here, Lupo.
If he clutches this, no. He almost used the rip to go.
My gosh,
opted not to because the shot stopped. He's going to get bandages off. Nope, he heard more shots come in. A layer got knocked out, and that's a good call. I'm actually extremely impressed at the hesitation on using the rip to go because he was trying to hold on to that. It's such a powerful item to have late game. You can reset an engagement that you are at a big disadvantage in by just getting up on top.
Still alive. I didn't see him.
He has to take advantage. Box himself in.
I didn't see him die.
This is an extremely obvious location. Those walls don't belong. I mean, they don't belong to the.
What gives it away?
Exactly.
That they're building, that they're not obviously the same structure. There's a lot that's not good for him right now.
If somebody watched him move in there, they're going to take shots.
Yeah.
I don't feel like very often you'd see a player box themselves in something like that because it's very telltale.
Look at everyone outside this next zone.
There's going to be a lot of people coming in. Everybody that's inside the current zone down there in the south. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw maybe one of those players, the 4, the top side, move north and try and build up, or even that northwest, whoever that is in the northwest, start gatekeeping. You're going to have a lot of people coming in, definitely from Salty. It's a very popular spot. Plus, everybody from the west side of the map.
There's a double on an AR.
River. They're going to have taken each other out. They're in a prime position to get
Kevin Hysteria. Kev trying to build on up. Hysteria had much lower health, but that's not the case anymore. Hysteria, 3 limbs. And the sigh of relief, it seems, from him as he lives to see another day. Gone nearby as well.
He's about to get
Goblin going to push his engagement. I think he thinks Hysteria is very weak, but little does he know, Hysteria was basically gifted a med kit.
Yeah,
He's still got some shields left. I think that this is Hysteria's fight to take as well.
Hopefully Tifa will still make the finals, grand finals tomorrow.
applying pressure in a situation like this, especially when you have somebody very close to the edge of a mountain. Hysteria can't back out of this easily unless he goes for elevation as well. You see the push now coming from Gone, knowing full well that he's got his opponent in a tougher spot just by applying pressure previously. Those kind of shots to knock down surfaces, that's going to make players that are very aware of when a push is going to come. They're going to stop healing, they're going to put up a wall, and Gone knows that, which means he may have interrupted a heal. The aggression, it's absolutely perfect time, but Hysteria going for a play there, trying to get him on YouTube and jumping up above the bounce pad to get elevation. A great play. 41 damage, no shield remaining, is going to go for it. Another one, the shot's midair and gets the elimination on Gone.
Beautifully done by Hysteria, his 4th elimination of the game. And he's going to go ahead and drop on into the low gravity zone. Ooh, that clear lands right behind 42MZ. The players aren't being stacked, so, you know, structures. He's able to get out with his life. MZ with the heavy sniper rifle. Remember, that does 1,100 damage to a wall, so it instantly destroys anything. Metal, brick, wood. He's made into the zone, though, so I think he's pretty content with where he is right now. No.
Do it.
Oh,
almost.
This player.
No. I'm curious if 42 realizes there are a number of players underneath him. There are actually 2 underneath him in the tower. And he wasn't even paying attention to that. He was watching the third party, which I don't blame him. The people underneath, unless they start smacking out the materials underneath him to drop him down, he doesn't really have to worry about him too much.
Most likely he's in tomorrow.
I'm going to be honest with you, I would avoid that entirely unless you were forced into it, because those jumps, you float so much that if any player, especially 42, he's got this heavy sniper, a body shot midair for a player with
it's
really
easy
good
to track.
accuracy.
It's easy to track.
Oh, yeah.
Floating like that. 42 just sitting above, still at 1 a limb. Don't know exactly where he stands in the standings. Really have to force a fight, maybe go for these couple limbs to get a point on the board.
Now, Bearded, DT, both have 3 eliminations. That's a point apiece. And Hysteria actually right now with the most in this match at 4. But nobody's got the 5 yet. 5 would get him to 2 eliminations. 2 points. My apologies.
There's that heavy being used. He cuts down that wall instantly. Almost had a chance to get a 3-point of damage on, but I do have to give some props to Hysteria. You know, playing every single day so far this week.
What is he doing?
Not getting frustrated. Goes for the quick scope. Doesn't actually happen. Can't follow it up, and now there's the third party as well. He's just going to get close and potentially dive on in. He's playing just to be on the edge of the zone again. This has been 42's strategy for the last 2 circles. Now he's officially safe.
Oh, what? He's good on mass.
Build battle. 42. Pyramids from both sides. Hysteria on the ground, just throwing some grenades. Not much ammo left. Needs to use anything he can get to drop this player down. Can he get the 5th limb? Joda down to just, what, 30 HP and some minis. Hysteria gets control of the wall. Spray. Can he hit the shots? It doesn't appear so as of yet. Will he elect to go from the top? Joda, he's trying to get an edit on the wall out, and Hysteria knows that. He's got the high ground yet again, and Hysteria fails the build, so he'll be back to the low ground. But Joda's down here again. Another shot. Joda even weaker. Hysteria trying to follow it up. This will be for the 5th limb and 2 points. He just seems, he's not building ramps. No! Still can't hit the shot.
At that point when he was jumping around the left side over there, I'm surprised he didn't build a ramp to get over the top. I guess at this point, I mean, if
that's all he's got left. This is all the ammo he has left to use. The small ammo in the minigun. Another shield tag. Hysteria just pleading to get this a limb. Now he gets third party down to 45 HP, and you know Joda hurt that.
This feels almost like potentially like a loss of focus. He's so locked in on getting the 5th elimination for that 2nd point that he's
and now Joda's
like he forgot the build. He's getting third party now from the back, and the Storm's going to push him even more. He just got shot from the angle. He's got to move in. He's opting to go for the elimination, go for the number 5, get the 2nd point, hit the last shot, and he gets it on wheels.
And he's going to be happy with that.
Storm, that's 2 points.
He's going to be happy with that. That's 2 points for Hysteria. We saw him with a 2-point game earlier on.
Yeah, TP definitely died.
For sure. In Monday's $1.5 million grand final, Colton, who I was going to touch on, had so little to his name. That was before he wound up jumping to that low grab mode. That's how he got his 1 limb of the game. Gyre, there's the heavy, breaks the wall, and tags the health. That's why it's
Heavy's so powerful.
Down to
it's definitely my favorite sniper.
This is the last game of the night. Again, folks, remember, this entire week we've been going live at 6 p.m. Pacific time. That is not the case tomorrow. Tomorrow's $1.5 million grand finals begins at 11 a.m. PST. Spend your holiday with us. Here to see who can take home that $225,000 top prize.
This heavy sniper is going to take a shot. Very close to catching that player in the top of that 1-by-1 off guard. It's funny, he takes a shot, he backs back down the ramp, and the reload on that relatively long. He has an opportunity to take his hands off his keyboard and mouse. The shots there from Frankie, who we saw earlier, gets diabolic. SMG spray. Up close, that thing is a blender. It hits so hard, and that's why we're use it. Wow, the snipe coming in, knocking the surface out of his knives. Is pushing across, trying to get underneath.
Congrats, he got his challenge done for building structures.
Wow.
It's a tough one. It's tougher for some of these players. There's knives building below. Jair just more than happy to peek with this heavy sniper, looking to see if he can catch him off guard like the player on the edge of the zone. Nothing as of yet. He's got all the ammo in the world to just chill up here.
His loadout is actually absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, it's
he has
brilliant.
A ton of materials right now. He has 2 full shields. He's sitting at 190 total HP. And actually, if you see the keybinds, you see their spell Lupo. Did you catch that?
No, I didn't.
Not even kidding. Roll it back. Check the clips.
Guess he's earned himself a new fan from you, but it's been a minute and 30 seconds from the last limit. I believe he just had one. So yes, there it is. Loop. Oh,
the build
the extra. The extra, but that's actually really funny.
Prism Nazgul. The Storm's starting to push players in, and this is where we get some crazy engagements. Everything kind of turns into chaos. You see a lot of players stacked on top of each other.
How do you play like that?
Who's left on the outside? East, south, and southwest sides. Those are all. They're all going to have to push in. You see.
He just needs one more for a point.
Nazgul getting young Prism to feed. Shotgun shots. SMG spray right there. He's looking. He's hunting. Jair wants one more shot with that heavy sniper. Fade right on the edge. Just barely safe, but he's going to have to move quite a bit. The next circle is in the southeast side.
Only 123 metal left to his name. Nazgul under 50 health. Erko maxed HP right next door, wondering if he's able to push on in and try to force that engagement. Kriz is still in this as well from C9 at 200 health. A strategy we've seen with this heavy sniper, you kind of use it as a battering ram to push through a wall, then follow it up with a shotgun.
Look at
Saka has literally 1
1
health, 1 HP. But how would Jair know?
Faye gets the elimination on Rex and the feed, taking the shot, just barely clipping his own floor after the snipe shot. Potentially maybe cost him a little bit of damage there since the shots didn't go in on the wall.
Again when we get that replay?
He's got to move
so
just
close.
a little bit.
He's actually not had to move for the last, what, 2 zones? Can't ask for much more if you're Jair.
Going to have to wiggle this time around, too. Barnologist, super close to scoring there with 4 HP Saka, and we have Fade here basically.
Jair got the snipe!
He did.
He just got the snipe on the big saucy, which will give him a point. That might be the thing that qualifies him for tomorrow. We'll see in the standings after this game. Fade
not realized there was somebody right next to him.
Doesn't matter. He died to the zone too. Fade dies to the zone.
He was at 4 eliminations.
Yeah.
If he had made the choice to try and get a shotgun shot off on that player that was also stuck outside, that could have been a second point for him. But he didn't. He went for the push, and there's so many layers there.
Here it is from Jair. Oh my gosh.
What a nice snipe.
And look, there's the relief. Knows just how key for 1 point can be. Jair's lost a good amount of HP.
2 more left, and then players start. Crispy just was lost in the storm. 2 more players go down, and then everybody that's left gets at least 1 elimination just based, 1 point based on rank alone. Jair gonna layer up on top of himself. Now's the time. You just kind of hang out inside. Only 30 HP left, so he can't take too much storm damage. And the storm doesn't affect shields. Players, these guys, they're so on top of that he knows he's got to start moving early. He knows he can't spend too much time in the storm. He can't move too early though. You're gonna take some ticks from that. Like these catacombs of buildings inside here. All the players that they put down just to secure every movement they can, because there's so many angles to see for. And his builds might not be enough to save him from something like this. We'll see here in a second. He's going to try and start making moves. 2 more players need to go down, and then Jair gets a second point here, which would put him in potentially on Monday.
He knows this too. He actually, I thought he got pulled into the rift to go too. Small perspective, Sabarnologist.
Lands, there's multiple players, both above and below him. The footsteps are every direction. And
another rift to go was just used. Fake Jesus eliminates 1. Erko, and that a limb. Jair gets a limb in 11th place, so he doesn't earn the extra point.
That gives everybody that's still alive a single point, though. Barnologist just watched somebody drop down. I'm surprised he didn't peek over the corner and try and go for a shot. That shotgun. But he's waiting inside, secures himself inside a little base. Erko, Vape Jesus getting multiple eliminations to feed. Frizz takes Erko out.
Here's Jair
all eliminated.
J-Mox had a quiet day so far, but this is his opportunity.
Yeah, it was a nice night.
A victory royale, 2 more limbs. Either of this could really just fly him up these leaderboards to join Tempo and Tfue, who we're expecting to see tomorrow. Barnologist with his second limb of the game. 5 players left. It all comes down to this for some of these players. The launch pad to re-secure the high ground. Barnologist starts to play the low ground now as well. Looks like that's Tempo Vape Jesus who's dropping down. 3 players left. Barnologist with another limb to knock out JP2 from LG.
This gives Vape Jesus 3 points based on being 3rd place and having 3
Same with Barnologist.
Excellent game.
Yo.
Barnologist gets the drop in and the trap for the Elim. The last 1v1. That trap might come in big, depending on the angle. Oh! Goes off, J-Mock dodges it, trying to peek up over the top. This corner right here could be it.
He's got to watch this trap on the other side of the wall. Drops on down. The quick tag shot.
Wow.
J-Mock with the victory.
You were literally just saying a quiet day up until right now.
He needed that right there. Yeah. He needed that right there, and he knows it. The sigh of relief.
Wow, GG's.
He knows that might have been all the difference. Dodges the trap twice and gets the final limb for the victory royale. Down to the wire. I have to ask someone from this crowd, for all the action we've seen, for all our competitors up to this point, can we give a round of applause for everyone this week?
Victory Royale.
People traveling from across the world in hopes of qualifying for tomorrow's $1.5 million grand final. We will know soon. Everyone who's qualified tonight will have our full look at all the participants. Again, that is 11 a.m. Pacific tomorrow, but Lupo, a great night 3. For me, the best night of the qualifiers so far.
Watching tonight was just another reminder why you and I are behind the desk for this stuff, man, and not out there against these players. We saw some crazy games. Tyler's putting up 10 eliminations, and also Zeke's Mike that game. Tfue put on an excellent show as well.
Yeah, all the FaZe people are.
FaZe had a great night tonight.
They did.
Tfue, Tempo, and their J-Mock as well. They won 3 of the games.
They did. And
3 of the 4 games are all FaZe.
On the teams they have, and a number of these big organizations, World Best Gaming, Trouble Boys, FaZe, Cloud9, everybody. Every team that's come here, there's a reason. You can tell why they're here, and I love to see it.
Well, we've got the replays to look at before we get to our final standings. First comes from a player from C9. It's Hysteria.
Oh, yeah.
This was him in his battle versus Kev. The great pump body shot and the follow-up with the spray. He had such a health disadvantage from, he was down basically 100 HP.
2 o'clock p.m. Yeah, for you, yeah.
Pad on the gun, and look at this. To follow it on
PS, if you're, I'm also EST. 2 p.m.
Tags right here.
I believe the clip on that shot is kind of what determined.
That's
said,
what gave him the confidence to go for
now's the time to push, to bounce up in the air. We haven't seen very many players go for a bounce pad play like that, and it's nice to see a player like Hysteria. And you know, this entire game had to feel redeeming for him, because this is not the first or even the second qualifier that he played in. He had to play through multiple days to even get here, and finally establishing, saying, you know what, I was overthinking the previous days. Now's the time to make a play. 5 elims for him on the day right there. The last second 5 HP and gets that one. That's 2 points.
2 points.
Previous points from the rounds before means we'll see him on Monday.
Exactly. Simple as that. Also, don't worry, we're calculating our final standings. We've got things on the way.
Tfue's probably like 6th, 4th, 5th, or 6th.
Exactly how it'll all break on out, but the nerves these players must be feeling right now. Wondering, did I make it in? Who will be the one that's 1 spot out? Who's going to be that unlucky egg there in the 34th spot? We've got more from Jair actually here. We saw him with that heavy sniper. Stayed above that build for about 3 storm zones in a row. His patience paid off. Bang.
Ooh. Snipe on Big Saucy. It's funny, previously in that match, Big Saucy was the one on top, that kind of plateau to the south of Retail Row, who hit the
actually
snipe
got clapped.
Joker unleashed just before that, and it wasn't a snipe opportunity for him. That up-close shotgun play ended up costing it. You ready?
No, I'm just nervous. They're still calculating. We're gonna get to it. Don't worry, it's here. But again, this was the final night of qualifiers. We still have tomorrow to look forward to. We have a J-Mock package as well to take a look at from his victory royale. Wasn't a high elim game, but you know what? When it counted most, he got, I believe, his second elim of that one. It was just enough, and the 3 points for the victory royale. You talk about all the different win conditions. That was an example of it right there. And that trap, if that hits him, that's 150. He only has 120 health. He dies there. Dodges it, doesn't pop back into it. And in the end, here's the final reaction. Knows how key that is. That's a career-changing moment for him.
I'm nervous.
Yeah?
I want to see it. I want to know who's playing tomorrow.
We're not even involved in it.
My hands are sweaty, though, man. Tomorrow is going to be incredible.
Yes.
We have everybody that makes it through to Monday's grand finals wins a minimum of $5,000. But if you get first place, Courage, it's $225,000.
Yes.
$1.5 million total for all 100 places. That's insane. It's absolutely insane.
No, it most certainly is. Now, there's so much stuff going on here at PAX. So many things to look forward to. I know tomorrow's the last day of the event, but for me, it's my first PAX. I've had a blast so far. Fortnite has only added to the experience. Obviously, I'm sure you share the same sentiments.
I had an opportunity to walk around the floor a little bit and take a look around. There's a lot of great stuff here, but I'm going to be be honest with you, man. I kept coming back to this tent every single time because the gameplay here, it's been fantastic to see everybody put up a good show, put in the best effort they can, and for some players, this could be potentially life-changing almost.
Yeah, no, most certainly. Now, we will have our final standings very, very soon. It has a little bit of a little tease and lead into it. We actually had our very own Zeke with a Der Burger food review, something I know many of you
nobody got 11 kills.
What Zeke thought of his burger he had earlier.
What does that guy owe him?
What's up, guys? Zeke here, and I'm coming at you live from PAX. Fortnite is on point, and if you can see behind me, we've got this Der Burger truck. That's right, you guys feel free to wave. I'm gonna taste this delicious Der Burger and give you my review. Let's go take a look. One Royale with cheese, please. We've done it. Royale with cheese. Look at this elegant design, simple and beautiful. The wrapper is childproof. I was not prepared for this. This is a quality burger. This is real tilted tower level material. I get a player's tears, and you can't top that bun, sealed with a big Royale. Quality beef, they say. Delicious. If you're here at PAX, you need to stop by the Der Burger. 5 out of 5 llamas. Delicious. You need to get one. We'll see you here.
Always has such an interesting way with words, and he shows it again there. I love the bush just watching over him. I have received word. I have received word. I believe it is time to live reveal to our players who will be moving on. They are still sat in their seats. It is incredible because they're all on the edge of their seats wondering if they made it. Some probably have an idea, but others, these tiebreakers, it comes down to the wire. Who will be the top 33? It will be revealed live on their screen here. There is a look at the players. I can't even imagine what's going through their heads right now.
Tiebreakers, a big piece that you mentioned. The first thing that's checked, victory royales. Then after that, eliminations, and a lot of these players are playing very aggressive.
Yep.
Following that, average placement, and then a coin flip. But man, the stress, the excitement, I can't wait to see. Courage.
Right. And don't worry, we'll have your full list of
that bush in the back, yeah.
Finalists for tomorrow as well, coming soon. There's everyone in the venue, though. As people check it in, seeing what their families and friends are saying after watching the big qualifier so far. Obviously, some people probably realizing, you know, hey, didn't work out for me here, but can still be proud of making it this far. People just waiting, staring, wondering if they've made it on in. Remember, there's 100 players in that room. Only 33 will make it to tomorrow's $1.5 million grand final.
Now you have to remember too, anybody that is part of this, whether you're here or not, if you're at PAX West and you're not down here tomorrow, 11 a.m. is when the action starts. I'd say get here earlier than that. You want a spot on one of these beanbags because, man, even right now, standing room only, and I only expect it to be more packed tomorrow.
100%.
Which I love. The energy here is going to be incredible. It was fantastic tonight, and the previous 2 nights. These games have been wonderful, and I think a big takeaway for everybody that's been involved with this, whether you made it to the qualifiers here or not, whether you did well in the heats or not, there's got to be more options, there's got to be more chances, but for the people that are about to see the reveal right now, here we go.
People recognizing they've made it. You see hands up in the air.
There it is.
Pumping up the chest. That's when they find out that news, they're $5,000 richer, because remember, 21st to 100th automatically $5,000. The smiles there on the end, the sigh of relief. Victory Royale, please stay in your seat. That is the sign that they have moved on. Look, some smiles there. Tfue,
not even looking up.
He knew with that performance with the Victory Royale earlier. I'm assuming Nick Merckx as well will following on in. But here are our final standings, folks. Tyler at the top, 11 limbs, 8 total points. Tenpo, Fake Jesus, Tfue, Kriz, Hysteria there as well. Chap and Jeomok joining the club. Nick Merckx in that 16th spot. We'll see you tomorrow, my friend. Barnologist, congratulations. On to page 2.
Yeah.
Remember, it's top 33. We have to see on page 3 who will be the last spot, but the crowd getting behind. Double O Flower there, and Cryomi with that 33rd spot. Colton just one position short. So heartbreaking for him, but congratulations to our top 33. We'll see you tomorrow.
Now, as I was saying, you have to remember everybody that played in this, everybody that played the last 3 days, whether it was heats or qualifiers, feel good about the opportunity that you had, and there's going to be more in the future. You know they've got something up their sleeve for what's next. I cannot wait to see. But tomorrow, Courage, $1.5 million.
Yeah.
It all happens at 11 a.m. Pacific.
11 a.m. Pacific. We've got Tyler again. His interview last time was quite interesting, but he finished first, so we're going back down on the floor with him and Zeke.
What's up,
guys?
Then. Awesome cast, as always. I'm down here with Tyler's the overall.
Alright then. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys tomorrow. If I can stream it, if I can't. If not, I'm streaming after the fact, playing duos and solos or whatever. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. See you guys next time. Yeah, I'm getting off. I'll be back on tomorrow though. Come back tomorrow and we could talk again. Either to stream this, I will be on tomorrow. Yes, I will. So yeah. Bye. Ooh. Yeah, I'm getting off. Okay, see ya. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed.